swear I saw him when I was.
I
saw him being.
Switch cars or something.
Was she in a smaller car?
She wasn't in the parking lot, she was like at the intersection as I was pulling, I was like, I swear to God, that's her.
Maybe she looked at you and was like, oh.
I know.
No, but
I
no,
need
that's
to get a few minutes.
not that guy, sorry.
Not again.
Why did you not have a great parking spot? Your car's not big.
She's
The
the
way
one.
we curve, so she can look even above it.
Oh, like in the
I
side.
bet you actually move up on it.
I did that with my, like, just flat out didn't see.
Oh, yeah, yeah, but it's a Jeep.
Yeah,
So
it was
It
fine,
handles it.
and it was a beater, so I wasn't really worried about it.
I did that cutting across a parking lot in the snow in Warwick, Rhode
Oh,
Island.
you didn't see it?
Yeah, because it was it used to be Toys R Us, so it was abandoned and the traffic was really bad and I was just trying to get to 295, so I went, I'm just gonna drive across the old parking lot. Oh. There was like about 6 inches of snow and I didn't see it. Yeah, no, it was definitely a curve because I went back. A couple days later, yeah, anyway, I could see my tracks. My tracks.
Text me just now, so just. I give
Well, she gets married, no hell breaks loose.
We'll do it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
I'll make sure before we start on a new hearing, just make sure that we have quorum, but we can definitely start, so.
All right, well, it's the evening of August 12th, 2026 at 7 PM. I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Bellingham Conservation Commission. For the record, Mike O'Haron, the chair, has some emergency medical issues come up, so he's not gonna be here tonight, and as the vice chair, I'm gonna be serving in his place. I'll also note that the meeting is being recorded. And we have no commissioners participating online, although Nicole is gonna be a little late. But that means that we don't have to do roll call. You gonna say something?
Do we address you as chair, vice chair, madam chair,
Acting chair.
madam?
I prefer
or
that.
name?
Acting chair.
Just call me out of there.
Like,
Obviously, all meetings are open to the public, but I would prefer if members of the public would ask if they can speak during a meeting. We'll also open towards the end of the meeting for public comment. We'll try to keep it to 5 minutes or less. But you know, it's our discretion if we want to keep it going. I have a lot of hearings tonight, so. 3 pages. So, that said, I'm going to talk about the first meeting, which they requested a continuation for. It's a continued hearing, notice of intent, 26 Pearl Street. This is the standalone energy storage system within the riverfront area and 100-foot buffer zone. Applicant ZPB 2020-030 LLC. CO 0 Point Development Inc. Representative LEC Environmental Consultants. Yeah. So they requested a continuation to the meeting of August 26th.
Move to continue. Till August 26th.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
By unanimous vote. All right, our next hearing is a new hearing for a notice of intent, 41 Lakeshore Drive. Alteration of buffer zone, bank, to replace the failing septic system. Applicant is Chris Henson, 41 Lakeshore Drive, and the representative is John Watfield.
That is right, but Donald Seaberg's on is at another meeting tonight,
And you're with,
Loss Engineering. I don't know how do you want this set up? This is hard to see, so I want to get it as close to you as I can.
Is that just the one we have
Is that the,
folder?
Yeah, and I'll also share it on the screen.
just hold it still?
Sure, yep.
That's what we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a.
So just to start, this is a request for an order conditions. It's a septic repair. The system is going, the only place on the lot it can go. It is right behind a wall. We're gonna do a roll of siltation down at the bottom of the wall across here. There'll be a new tank. And, any excavation on the site is gonna have to just come off. They're not gonna be able to stockpile anything on the site because there's frankly no room to stockpile anything on the site. And that is basically it. Do you have any questions or?
Any questions from the commission?
But at the moment,
The existing system is,
Is,
in the rear to the left.
yeah, it's right kind of hard to see. It's, you can see where the tank is.
Yeah.
There's a thing kind of close to that. Yeah, I believe it's a dry well. Not a wet well now, but.
Not much room.
No, that's not.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to use a plastic tank just to get the tank in to the back, They will be removing a little bit of concrete that was on the back, that was, I guess is a little bit of a plus where the tank's going and. So kind of basically the concrete that's in there now up to the shed will be gone,
And that's gonna be lawn afterwards.
they'll be lawn after.
Has this been approved or reviewed by the Board of Health?
Yes, it's approved.
1,537 gallons, seems really specific.
It's getting a little close to the, retaining wall. Is this getting hand dug out there or are they bringing out equipment?
Well, they have a mini excavator, they've already brought it out to do the test pits, so. So yeah, what they'll do is they'll dig down, they're gonna put some impervious barrier around the side.
I don't really have much else other than just making sure you get out there to see the wattle before we.
And they don't have a DEP number, so that's really it's the only other thing I think we were looking for.
I guess one question I have is, what is the elevation of the leach field compared to the bottom of the retaining wall?
Well, the leach field, the bottom is 95.25. And the bottom of the retaining wall is 94. There's a 94 contour going into it. So it's about a foot above it.
it's there in the right, area.
Huh?
It's there in the right.
So is there any chance of, I guess, liquid from that leach field causing settling or loss of structural integrity of the retaining wall?
I wouldn't, there's not a lot that's gonna go down through there, you know, it's not like it's gonna get flushed out when they flood. It's gonna go through those lines really gradual, so it's just gonna be a slow seepage. So I wouldn't anticipate any of that. And then they're gonna, like I said, they'll have an impervious barrier between the wall and the leach field, so. Water basically goes straight down.
Do they have to go on to any neighbor or butter's property in order to?
No,
It's all contained.
it's all gonna be contained in that, yeah.
So.
So we're not asking for any waivers about being too close to the line, yeah, that's all.
Under the leach field, you're going down to 91 feet. For the note, the bottom. Remove all unsuitable.
Oh, yeah, unsuitable, then they fill it back up, so the
Yeah,
leach
what's
field
the
itself is
table?
Water table is. There was no, they didn't hit water table, there was no modeling, no weeping. So they went down to 8911 and they didn't incorporate water.
Bottom of test pit one.
The bottom of the septic system itself has to be a minimum of 2 feet above the water level. With this type of field.
It's not possible and it still goes to Lake Hiawatha.
Sorry?
How is it possible that they didn't hit the water table at all when it appears from the photos that Lake Hiawatha is like right there? I'm
Yeah,
just
we
curious.
shot an elevation on Lake Hiawatha and it's 88.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a high water on that date anyway.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding.
It does drop down quite a bit.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Okay.
Are you looking at the site photos?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of walk down the driveway at a slope and then it's kind of flat where the existing shed is and where the proposed system will be, and then there's the drop off.
Kind of see it in,
5 or 6.
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
the first picture, if you look at the house being level, you can see it's quite a pitch.
it's, yeah, I don't know how they even call that a driveway because you
Yeah.
can't do anything with it.
So the house is still another 20 feet up.
Yes,
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
When was the test pit? What time of year was that done?
June 30th.
Someone from the town watch it?
Yes, yeah.
Who?
It was witnessed by Dylan Labonte.
June wasn't a particularly dry month.
I thought we were in a drought.
It's been a dry.
We had a pretty rain.
That's why they look for what they call models, because, yeah, the,
Shows the iron.
shows the actual elevation for what it rises.
And you said you didn't see any modeling?
They had no modeling, no. But if they did, that would have been the water table.
Eric, can you explain to me what modeling is?
It's a discoloration of the soil. So the water will kind of, like, if there's iron or anything, it'll, so it's just like a discoloration.
The iron, because of the repeated soaking and drying, correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong. The iron rusts, and you see that pattern in the soil. Correct?
Yeah.
I only just learned that
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
This is going to be included. Any comments from members of the public? And I'll speak up at once. All right, public commentary. So. Any other discussion, questions, can I get a motion?
To continue the next hearing, so we need a final number.
And I'll second that. Well,
And beat you.
and you beat me. And-
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye. So we just need to find a number.
Unanimous vote except for Nicole standing. Was not here.
Hardy.
I would only just have one request, if they could, I don't know if you could have an order of conditions written for the next meeting, so we can just get it closed. People are kind of anxious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I can get a draft together. I even started one.
That way we did all the heavy lifting tonight.
I'm not expecting any wacky DEP comments, so it's.
Yeah. I think we're good.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's been a long time since I've been here. The last time I was here, Cliff Matthews was the chairman.
That could have covered what, 30 years?
Yes, yeah, that's right. Thank you so
Have a
much.
good night.
Yeah.
26, yeah. Yeah, I hope we have enough back.
So next hearing is a continuation An abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, 462 Hartford Ave. Confirming the delineation of bordering vegetated wetlands. The applicant is Louise Porto of Fence Today. Property owner is Sachem Capital Corp. Sorry, I am not pronouncing that right. Representative is Ryan Anu, Anu,
Enough?
sorry, Ecosystem Solutions Inc. And he's on, oh, is Eliza online? Yeah.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi.
Still no number. Jeez.
No, we actually just got it. We were talking about continuing and we just got it at like 4:30, so.
Oh, it's not on the portal yet, that's why.
Yeah. Yep, I did not get a chance to update the portal, but we just
No,
got
no.
it at 4:30.
He's
Oh, yeah. Yes, we got an email.
Okay.
And essentially DEP just said the commission should confirm the boundaries of the wetlands on site. So they didn't have any other outstanding comments and I didn't have any outstanding staff comments.
Is this the one that hadn't had a chance to get out to yet, or did you get out here before the last hearing?
I've gone out there before the last hearing and then there were a couple flag changes and then we were able to meet on site and confirm that the updates were correct.
Well, I guess no additional comments from DEP, then I make a motion to approve the INRAD as amended and issue the ORAD as drafted. I didn't have any notes.
Second,
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous vote.
That was a quick one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Right, that was.
So,
Yeah, because that's all we're waiting for.
have you done that before, or have you completed the ORAD?
Yes, yeah, I drafted, so we have a drafted one in the portal.
Oh, okay, I knew that.
I was just looking at it quickly.
There's a lot of projects.
It's just, the only notes on it were essentially confirming the BBW boundaries that were present and noting that it doesn't confirm the lack of anything internally because they didn't put anything on the plan.
So, will she be picking that up, or will they be picking that up from you, or having it?
Yep, yeah, they'll either pick it up or I will send it to them certified mail.
Okay.
Within 3 months.
Alright, next hearing is another continued hearing, notice of intent, 39 North Main Street. Construction of an ADU, accessory dwelling unit, anyone curious, within the 200-foot riverfront area of the Charles River and 100-foot buffer zone to BVW. Applicant is Ciara Lundy, Backyard ADUs, and representatives is William and Sparagen.
Hi. It sounds like this isn't very useful for you guys if you have it on your screens. Is that all right?
Yeah,
Okay.
as long as it's the same plan.
Yes. My name is Thorsten Akeley. I'm a professional wetland scientist with Williams and Sparages, and we're a little ways from home tonight. We're in Middleton, Mass, but we're representing a client we've worked with a lot over the years, Backyard ADUs. They're a firm that builds ADUs for homeowners, something that's becoming very popular, as I'm sure you've all seen. And with us is Ciara from Backyard ADUs and the property owner, Tim Levia. Tim is planning to build an ADU for his sister, who is currently living in California, planning to move back to Massachusetts after living with their parents, which is why we're here tonight. In front of you, we have a site plan that we developed with help from a local surveyor. The property is an existing single-family house, which was built around 1900. The parcel itself is very large. I believe it's about 10 or so acres. I may be wrong in the math on that, but it stretches quite a ways down the railroad. And on the property, you have a pretty typical appurtenances associated with a single-family home, a driveway that comes off of North Main Street, which is paved, a garage that's detached at the base of that driveway. The house, and then of course lawn and landscaped areas around the house. Which back up to a few resource areas associated with the Charles River, one being mean high water associated with the Charles River. BBW and a flood zone, the zone AE, with a specific elevation. As far as the primary work here goes, property owners are looking to construct about a 650 square foot ADU, just off the back of that existing garage that you see there. The client has done a lot of work trying to find the best location for it, and keep it as far away from the wetlands as possible. You can see that the other, one other feasible location would be along the driveway, but that slope that backs up to North Main Street is terribly steep and really not workable. Where the ADU is proposed is a little bit less steep, a little more able to be cut into as we're proposing to now. To further cut into that hill, we are looking to do a retaining wall along the foundation, which will help limit the amount of overall disturbance in the area. And kind of step the foundation down, which would be on a slab. The grading is a little tight. Obviously, we tried to keep things as far away as possible. And right now, everything's proposed to be roughly about a 2-to-1 slope, which can typically be stabilized with grass and seed mixture. There is only very minor work proposed in the riverfront area, 200-foot riverfront area. It's just the utilities. I think some minor grading in the portion of the porch and walkway. So those are typically all minor activities that wouldn't typically require probably no NOI, but the ADU itself is within the 100-foot buffer zone to the wetland. Part of the ADU is proposed within, I would say, partially edge of lawn, but then other parts of it, there are clearly trees in the buffer zone. I think about 6 mature trees are where the ADU is proposed right now. But there's a pretty big gap from the wetlands to the lawn to where the ADU is proposed right now. We did propose some mitigation to try to give back a little lawn to the commission in accordance with the riverfront area regulations. I know Hannah brought a note about that, and we can certainly move that a little bit. Truthfully, we had hoped we thought we would get edge of lawn on the survey, but we didn't, so we were kind of basing it off aerial photography. So it's not a problem to shift that around a little bit to another location that makes sense. I think that summarizes it. I know Hannah had a couple notes about the site and some history, which we're prepared to discuss tonight as well. Thank you.
You say the sister's here tonight?
No, not necessarily. Just the property owner.
It looks like the property is on septic system, right?
That's right.
So is that gonna be upgraded as part of the project?
So they've spoken with the Board of Health. Here, I don't know if you can share your conversation with them, but I think they're not increasing the flow up to the system, so they're not required to meet new construction standards. So I think the system had an extra bedroom capacity, which is being added via the 1-bedroom and ADU. Is that correct?
Exactly, yeah, it had a bedroom left in capacity, and I've got email correspondence with Dylan to, tie into the system, and he approved it and didn't have any further notes that we needed to. Why
Why are there so many flags moved or missing?
Another firm had flagged it in November or October, maybe November or December, right? October, and I think a few of the BBW flags fell. I actually went out there just before the meeting because it wasn't me that did the delineation. Most of it, at least this side closest to the ADU, appeared pretty consistently on a topographic small banking. It was pretty densely vegetated, but the flags I did see all appeared appropriate to me, but I think there were 3 or 4 BBW flags missing. The bank, I think Hannah mentioned one flag was still there. I did walk out there. I can see what they should have called it mean high water, but it really is a pretty well-defined bank that even if you look at an aerial of the site, I would be comfortable saying it's right along that water's edge. There's a very, very, not super steep, but there's a very defined bank that upland of that, you have vegetation that's not typical of being within a mean high water line of a river. So you know, to me, it looked like they tried to follow that, although I think I only saw one flag up there.
That was the tough part. I was like, from looking at it and also having flags on the edge of one, like unless you stake that stuff out, you're gonna lose it most of the time. But I agreed with where I thought the flags would be, and from looking at the plan, it looked accurate, but I couldn't locate the other 3 bank flags.
And it looks like you found some unpermitted work while you're up there.
Yes, and
Yeah,
that was,
two
I think, what
structures.
we'd kind of, he was alluding to at the end of that, where there was a couple things on site that I had made some notes about.
Yeah. I mean, you can't have a shed, right, without the permitting process. When it's in an area like that.
So if I may, the property owners they did get a building permit for the shed. It seems like the town,
Well, that's the whole story.
it's a story, you know,
That's a story.
you know, it's a beautiful shed. The property owners really want to keep it. It's actually a little greenhouse. The family grows vegetables in. You know, it's not like a dinky thing or anything like that. You know, so we'd love to be able to find a way to make you happy and, you know, again, I think the property owners weren't trying to do anything, you know, overtly illegal. They literally got a building permit for it and thought they were doing the right thing by, you know, going through the process.
You know, a lawn area.
It is.
Yes.
It's a pretty
Yeah,
area.
and I mean, the wetland delineation doesn't extend towards there, and I think that the portion of the walkover structure, a portion of it does appear, in my opinion, to be based in wetland, but I dug around in the soils around that shed, and it seems like that is a little upland area, so it doesn't seem like that was built on wetland.
The only thing I'm concerned about is the flood zone.
Yeah.
And
right
that
in-
was the walkways, at least on piles, but that was my one concern. was
What,
that it
is
wasn't-
Is the shed on a full-on foundation or is it?
No, it's not on a
Looks like
foundation.
it's on blocks.
Okay.
It's just like,
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
it's
how
not-
to- But there's no like.
Well, there's not really loss in flood storage, so I'm not really worried about it. I mean, if I'm worried about it for you because you might lose it, but I'm not worried about it from resource area.
So that was, I said, you know, come in, see what they think. It might be de minimis enough that
Yeah.
that's.
Is it calculated as part of the NOI as an impact?
It's not.
Okay.
We didn't know if it was. We didn't look back.
Gotta get removed, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna come and see
Yeah.
how it went before go on the whole thing.
The other structure, the walkover?
Hmm.
Was that the other structure?
The
Were
other
they
structures,
hoping to keep that as well, or?
I believe that was the request.
They'd like to, you know, but, you know, we realized with that one, obviously wasn't a building permit, so we're at a little bit more at your mercy, for that one. It is in lawn, but I did go to the site today with, to look at the wetland and what Hannah mentioned, that area potentially, her not agreeing with the delineation. I did agree with her that it probably does sit within the edge of the wetland there a little bit.
Your auger in the photo, Hannah?
What's that?
Is that your auger in the photo?
My trusty item.
That's on files?
Yes, yeah, it's on my.
It's little wooden piles, yeah.
Just direct
Okay.
embed into the ground?
There's a little bit of upland right next to it, you know, not a lot,
Yeah.
which is lawn. I don't know if the commission would be open to shifting it out of the wetland.
That might cause more damage than it's worth.
Right.
I'll say it's not WPA specific, but DEP does not count pilings under, I mean, it's 36 inches, but a piling is not an alteration.
Unless it's a roads.
Hmm?
Unless it's roads.
Yeah, at that point, it becomes more of like a bylaw situation,
Right.
but
Right.
Army Corps.
But we have pretty good discretion when it comes to the bylaw.
exactly.
But there's no concrete footings.
No.
Yeah.
It's just wood.
Yep. pretty.
What kind of wood? Is it treated at all?
The posts that sit on the grass are pressure treated. The walkway itself is, I don't know, tiger wood, something like that. It doesn't need to have any finish on it, so it's just a straight.
So on the site plan, I can assume that house is at the end of the walkway? Is it on the site plan?
The ADU, the proposed
No,
ADU,
no. That.
Greenhouse?
The greenhouse.
yes, it's on
Solar
the
panels on there now.
upper right.
I see it.
And then that walkway essentially runs from the shed in front of where you have that planting area, or is that in a different location?
I think the other side of the yard. The pla-
Oh, I see now. Oh, there's two sheds.
Oh, all right, that makes sense.
One of them's more of a storage shed. The other one's, it's not, it's listed as like a shed, I think, just because they didn't have
Oh, I
anything
see.
else to call it on the building
Just-
permit.
yeah,
But it's a
literally,
little greenhouse. Yeah, it's a little greenhouse.
That's well in the wetland.
But so both of both sheds are unpermitted.
No, I don't,
No,
I don't think the other one's legal.
no, there was a shed there when we moved there.
Okay,
And,
Yeah.
but then the greenhouse is the one you added, okay. I'm just
Oh,
trying
like
to understand what the history is of it, I guess. You got a whole solar setup out there.
Yeah, that's, well, oh, you mean for the greenhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's no power way out there, so. It's a ventilation fan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
My backyard, this is.
What is in the greenhouses?
I still.
What is in there? Right now, cucumbers and some peppers. It gets too hot in there, so we have like a shade cloth going over the top to keep it cooler.
You might have answered it, but how high is that retaining wall gonna be?
I believe it's 36 inches in max height in the back. I should call it out on the plan, could be wrong. But I know 44 inches, so just under 4 feet, was the plan that we wanted to try to avoid building permit if possible.
Is it gonna require like any type of fencing or anything?
No, so the ground will be essentially level at the top of the retaining wall around, it'll essentially be the top of foundation as well, so the ground will be kind of, whatever, 8 inches below the, your top of wall, bottom of your siding.
So what is the purpose of the retaining wall? So you're not really seeing any grade changes.
So the darker line behind the ADU kind of alongside them, those are the proposed grading. The retaining wall allows us to, or allows them to not cut into the hill as much. So if you wanted to try to build this ADU without the wall, you would need to bring, you can see the proposed grading on the side is about 230 between the garage. You would need to create that 230 around essentially the whole back of the ADU as well to try to create at least somewhat of a level surface. So this allows them to step up the grade behind on the backside of the ADU, so you can bring the grade up a little bit to lessen the steepness of that slope and reduce the amount of, cutting you have to do into the hill. So that's the main purpose of it.
What's the plan for stockpiling all of that soil before it gets taken off site? Just because it's a tight site and everywhere that's not regulated is a hill essentially.
Yeah, it's a good question. There's a little, I'd say if they start with their site work, you have some area above that retaining wall. As you're doing the initial site grading and clearing. But it's tight. You might even have to bring a truck in the driveway and live load it, to be honest. Cause it'll be annoying to stockpile it there and then bring it right to the driveway and get it out of there. But I think it's about 50 cubic yards of material. We estimated to be coming out. So.
I'm thinking if
buffaloes.
you're expecting, or if the applicant or the builder is expecting the stockpile at all on site, I guess I'd rather us pick a spot and say, this is where you're approved to stockpile with BMPs. Right, because I guess I don't want to limit a contractor, so you have to live load, because that's very expensive.
You don't know,
and difficult to deal with. So if there's an area where we can stockpile,
Yeah, if you're okay with it, then.
I would just rather have it as an option. I mean, like even left of the garage, right, before it starts cutting up that hill. Like, I don't know what's out there on site, if it's lawn or whatever, but that might be,
I think that's the bottom of the drive.
oh, that's part of the driveway.
It's part of the driveway.
I mean, if they can live with it, right, that might
I
be.
mean, that seems reasonable, makes sense to me, you know, it's far from the resource areas and. You know, that's where they'll have to pick it up, so.
Right, makes it easy for them. So I guess I'd want to see that on an updated plan.
And then is there a reason why the flagged wetlands ends at 13?
I'm guessing the person that did the donation just didn't think that. The shed thing was a thing. You know, so they were looking at the site saying, oh, the AD is going here, why do I need to? Continue the donation over there.
Makes sense.
It looks like it's pretty well defined over there too.
The wetland limit.
Yeah, like it's lawn and then wet.
Yeah,
Pretty
well,
dry.
I mean, part of the problem is there is like a couple areas where the wetland creeps into the lawn. On the front side, it does work out pretty. like, I'm assuming they just know till it gets wet, so that's actually a pretty good limit of lawn over there.
Yep.
But like, you know, between 12 and 13, there's a little section of lawn that I would. And he had concurred that it looked like that was wetland, but it does seem to snake back in towards the edge of lawn. When you get past 13.
And 12 is, you have a view from 12, that's essentially where that walkway is.
Yeah.
So that walkway was installed obviously because it gets wet.
Yes.
Are there any thoughts on the greenhouse?
I would be inclined to let the greenhouse stay. Less inclined for the walkway if there's pressure treated wood in the limit of the wetland.
I think you said it was tiger eye. I don't know if that's pressure treated.
I don't know if you've seen these things on Amazon, it's basically like it's a fence post. The pressure treated goes in the fence post and the fence post sits on the. So it's actually, there's no pressure treated wood contacting the ground, it's that spike.
Oh, it's those metal insert, oh, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like, describe it,
It's like a 4x4 or 6x6 box on top that holds the wood, and then there's a metal or plastic spike that actually gets driven into the ground.
So the space above between the bottom of the pressure treated and the soil is probably about 2 inches.
Most at least, some of the ones that were a little bit higher, yeah,
They're higher because they didn't get driven down the whole way.
that's correct, yeah.
How easy would it be to move the other shed?
You mean the greenhouse?
No, the other
The
shed.
shed? Was
That-
that the one that was, that's the one that was permitted for building?
They're-
So they were the shed. This shed,
Shed.
One of
the
the
shed, the real shed, not the green, okay,
The
all the
garage?
other ones, the greenhouse. So are you talking about the shed, not the greenhouse? Yeah, so that's just been existing.
Well, how hard would you move it?
That one I have no idea. That one I don't know.
But I also knew for that a little bit, it's like in the water, doesn't seem like it will function very long.
Which ones?
The shed?
Oh, there's another one up by the plantings, Don.
There's like a picture
Up
of
in the
it.
top
like,
left,
in
yeah.
One there.
Yeah.
No, that's like
Yeah.
what, 20?
Yeah, that one's, that one's.
It started like in the wetlands and the greenhouses. And all that one.
Can I see what part of your?
Yeah, those are trees.
Yeah, those are just trees.
Trees and some.
I just was showing because that's an area that they assumed was lawn just from looking at aerial photos, and I was looking, I'm like, it's not lawn, it's currently vegetated, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to do the proposed plantings there, because you're not really taking back additional lawn.
Right.
There's already plantings there. That was what I was trying to show there.
So question I have, if we allow those to stay, how do we justify it to other people who we've made move things? It would appear as if we're inconsistent.
No.
Huh?
I don't think we'd have much of a leg to stand on for the shed, because it was existing
Permanent.
before, no, it wasn't, but it was, they bought the house with it, and
That's why I was asking how easy it is to move, because if it's not something easy, then I was gonna be like, forget about it.
yeah.
But with the greenhouse is on, it's just sitting on the ground essentially. In some conservation commissions, that's not even considered alteration.
Okay.
I'm getting turned around here, and the greenhouse is the one that the building permit, they got that for us.
Yes. Not a Concom.
The little wooden bridge structure and the greenhouse were the two that were recent.
That's on the right side of the site. plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the justification on the greenhouse would be an earnest attempt to follow the Bellingham laws. But I don't think I can make the same argument for the walkway.
Think about like, when I go to, nature, where I see the same type of walkways. Stony Brook, something, they have all those walkways.
Elevated walkways,
Brew,
wetlands, yeah.
I mean, I.
the turtles
just don't
swim
like
underneath.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be disinclined to set a precedent that people can set things into the wetlands and that we're gonna. But I would feel differently if it was a project that came to this of like, we want this to be walkable in a natural habitat, you know, like the kind of reservation stuff, so it's hard to.
Something we probably would, kind of, like. Shape up.
Is it something that they can apply for retroactively, like go through the process?
Oh, yeah, I think we're discussing more if we're gonna even allow them to do that. I think all of these need to be included in the NOI.
Yeah, I think that was the discussion. Do you want them to apply for it retroactively or enforcement situation?
I think
Just
a
do it all
minimum. it
together,
needs to
Cause
apply.
that was
Yeah.
what I explained is, single family residential homes, there's more leeway there. It's existing.
What would they
Existing
do?
law.
Like you said, we don't wanna set a precedent for people just to do this.
You know it'll come back. So Hannah, the very first photograph is the northern shed. And that was or was not permanent.
That one, I mean, that's just,
That came with
Like-
the
that's
house.
not something that I would.
That's an existing
Yes,
structure.
that's an existing.
So the greenhouse is the southernmost. Now, is there anything in here that shows the base of the greenhouse in a bit more clarity?
Yeah, this is kind of a further.
Page 8.
Yeah, if you go to page 8. You can kind of see that it's just this.
It's floating, definitely on a pile. Or like. something.
So what is it sitting on?
Same thing with that, I built the deck, but the deck is basically just sitting on those same setups all the way around it.
And I think if you're also, I mean, the single family residential homes, there is more of that leeway for like the 25 no disturb if it's already lawn, and we've given situations where we have done after the fact permits that also include perhaps some additional mitigation, so like some additional plantings. And that's, I think, been a way that the commission's kind of handled that in the past.
So, Ariane, your defense is what? That we're not disturbing.
Well-
The installation isn't a disturbance of the water.
Some conservation commissions would consider it that. I don't necessarily agree, but I think if you get enough people, they could lift it up and move it and put it somewhere else if they wanted to. So in that case, to me, it's not really a significant impact.
The gazebo that we had the gentleman remove 6 months ago.
Which one that is.
A couple.
The one that was right near the river.
Mid,
Big one, yeah.
yeah. That had,
He
Piers
clear cut.
in the ground.
He clear cut a bank.
Yeah, and then he also had cement.
I'd also say I believe we gave them the option of permitting it versus removing it, and I think they elected not to permit it.
No, that sounds familiar. I'm remembering this now.
we had it turned down.
Yeah,
I seem to remember.
the daughter was translating for him.
I thought we had said.
And that
could,
was, yeah,
and I was
that
like,
one
no.
was much closer to bank
was on.
and.
Was
Yeah, there was a significant amount of existing disturbance and impervious surfaces, and that was within like, yeah. That was
What about the church?
only naturalized area, a bunch of stuff was cut for that. The church, that was in wetland, significant amounts of fill,
But
a lot of vegetation, alteration.
made him put that back.
Which one?
Which part?
Much more than what.
Huh?
What are you saying? The greenhouse is in the wetland?
Yeah.
No, that's all lawn.
It's not,
Sheds here, the 25, no disturbance way back here.
Right.
The
Not
edge of that
in the wet.
parking lot was right on that bank.
Right.
The church.
You don't
Right,
consider
it
that.
extended into the wetland.
Go to the pictures.
Right.
In the grass.
Okay, it's still defined as wetland.
But this is
No, the
established
line
yard,
ends here. You don't
which
know
we
what, it
usually-
probably cuts this way.
I mean, technically, it's all.
It's
water,
regulated,
land
right.
Subject to flood,
Yeah.
but
I did go out there today, Hannah mentioned this too, but greenhouse is definitely not it's not in the wetland. It's close, but it's not in the wetland.
and then like what James was saying
Okay.
about the flooding is like,
Yeah, I realize that, and you can somewhat see that here.
Storage.
Is there any way you could? You don't have a DEP number, correct?
You do.
So for the next meeting, can you finish
Hmm.
the wetland lines around that?
I already did.
You
Did that, I
already
did it
did?
tonight, I did it tonight before the meeting.
Oh, we just don't have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it on the one in front of you?
it will be next time.
Does it follow just in general roughly that topo line that's shown there? Okay.
Is what we're debating, Hannah, can you bring the Google Maps up? To that area,
Or near map, because you
satellite,
do near map, you have.
Bring the Google
you have
up.
this and stuff. All chat GPT.
Give me 1 minute.
guys, I'm also gonna say, let's try to wrap this up at 8. Okay?
That's fine.
Great.
I mean, we're gonna continue anyway, but yeah.
Oh, this
They do
means the
need a
whole
DEP
meeting?
number.
No, just this here.
I was thinking Dairy Queen.
that's fine, that's another 10 minutes, we don't need all that.
I mean, after that, we do have our boy over there. Treadmill on the truck,
Yeah.
so maybe we'll get hired. Right? Hold on.
Yeah, they did continue.
MoDOT continue more.
Mhm.
Is he even on it?
What's the next one? I haven't.
I won't be here next time.
There you go. So, is this the line?
Yeah, it does roughly follow the edge of lawn over there. Yeah,
And I did poke around in there, and I mean, yeah, I generally concur that
Did you
the rest
auger
of
it?
it's, yeah. I was poking around in there. I filled the whole stuff, so.
It's a better image than mine.
Yeah, that's pretty
Wait,
good.
what's
Yeah,
that?
Hannah's got his fancy stuff.
That thing one nice.
Yeah.
You're about.
That was. You gotta pay for that.
Yeah,
So
DPW has.
the ADU is gonna go right in here.
Next to that train track.
Yeah, right next to the train.
You know, it's the concrete pad, so it's like a house.
Yeah, it's being removed.
It's not concrete, it's just, they're,
Those
they're,
gardens.
yeah, it's garden beds. I had actually asked about that and then it was just.
Can we see the north shed?
And that's the thing, it's kind of, I think that's why it was tough, it's tough to tell.
Okay.
It's hidden in the trees.
Yeah, very much.
I mean, I would say they're gonna be coming back to the next hearing anyway. I would think maybe we have you guys include everything in the NOI, and then, I mean, it gives us time to think. Discuss it.
I definitely agree that, I know that you said you already did it, but the wetland line should be continued to show full impacts. And then buffer zones obviously continued as well.
Right.
I think a little narrative of the walkway and just the arguments for why it's not affecting the wetland despite would be very good to have.
Right, and we're essentially, I assume, requesting a waiver of tier, no disturb zone.
Yep, and I bet there's details online of those. The foundation spikes that you can find at typical at least, and yes, maybe include that.
Where there seems to be a prevailing thought to leave it, but we have to defend the decision, because in other similar situations,
Completely
did.
understand.
and we can't be charged with being playing favorites.
We'd like to make a compelling case for you to grant a waiver.
I like Pam's idea of, include the I don't wanna say defense, the explanation.
Once they add it all to once they add this request in there,
Yeah.
they'll go through and make sure it hits all of the requirements.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up for public comment.
I do have one additional
You're
question.
not the public.
Yeah,
I'm a member of the public.
okay, public, go ahead.
I think we had a quick answer to it, but the existing retaining wall that the utilities are going through. Is that section meant to be put back? Cause it just says removed for construction.
Yes. Where the utilities are going through that. I would assume it's going back, so it's more of like stacked boulders.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it will be, we'll restore it, once the utility trench is being, backfilled, we'll definitely restore that section.
Okay.
We'll change that note.
So it's a temporary removal. then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes more sense now that you said it's block, cause
Yeah.
I was thinking of pouring foundation, work,
Right.
you're gonna have to just redo the whole thing at that point.
Okay, public comment now.
James.
We got 7 minutes left for this.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to continue this to August, what is it, 26th?
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Unanimous
Thanks.
vote.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pretty property, you can't tell from the road,
I love the property.
Yeah.
I love the
but
property.
the child's right there too, they're gorgeous.
Thank you, I was there.
Yeah, I know. yeah.
Better pronounce your name right.
Real
this
estate,
time.
it's real.
Yeah, it's in very much.
Yeah.
All right, feel free to get set up, but before we get to you, we have a request for continuation for a continued hearing and notice of intent. Blackstone Street alteration of BVW and its associated 100-foot buffer zone for improvements to the undeveloped section of Blackstone Street, including infrastructure, utilities, and site grading. The applicant is Louis Petrosi, Wall Street Development. representing himself, but again, he has requested a continuation.
Did he say to when?
Yes, to the 26th.
To the 26th?
I move to continue Liz to the 26th.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
A unanimous vote. All right.
Here we go.
I'll open the
Take a deep
continued
breath.
hearing for, well, we'll start with the amendment request. So the continued hearing for an order of conditions amendment request, Mechanic Street and Mill Street, Reginald and Charles. Requesting an amendment to the adjustment of roadway, stormwater management infrastructure and site grading. Whole Northeast B Corp is the applicant, and Brian Madden, LEC Environmental, is the applicant's representative. Just the applicant.
Yeah, tonight I'm flying solo, so,
Lucky you.
yeah.
I gave you a prep session.
I hope I can scroll through all these different plans here. But yeah, Brian, is on vacation, well deserved, tonight, and Liz is at another hearing this evening, so unfortunately, you're stuck with me, Jeff Albert.
Or you're stuck with that.
I mean, if we start deny, oof.
So for the amendment request, we were waiting on the peer review comment letter from Beals and Thomas. That was our, why we continued for a number of meetings. Just before this meeting, just at the end of the day, we received a updated peer review letter. And Hannah, you received it as well, where it appears there's one comment that remains. Everything else has been satisfied. The last comment is a methodology in the calculation between how our engineer did it and how the town requests that it's done. Their opinion, the peer reviewer's opinion is it's not gonna change anything. But wants it to run anyway, just because that's what the town requests. So,
What's the calculation related to?
it's a stormwater
stormwater
calculation
calculation.
for the time of concentration. So on the programming that Time Bond uses, you have to input the time of concentration on per hour. And so it defaults to 0.1 as the lowest number, which is 6 minutes. The calculation that the town requests you use is a TC, a time of concentration of 5 minutes. So that 1 minute difference isn't expected to make a difference in the pipe sizing calculations. It's just, again, the
Standard.
methodology that's being used by one modeling software and the preferred modeling software is essentially the difference. So I am floating out the idea of conditioning that if we're able to move forward this evening with the amendment request, that we can condition this, that Liz has to, or Time Bond has to submit these calculations per the peer reviews comment and ensure there's no changes. If there are, we would need to resize whatever pipes are required based upon the new calculation to the satisfaction of the peer reviewer and an agent of the town, whomever you guys choose.
How close, with the calculations that you guys have done, how close is that sort of to the limit of the construct that you guys are proposing?
There's not gonna be any change.
There's
Yeah,
plenty
so
of wiggle room.
Liz-
It's not like you're right on, plus or minus 2%.
We got a heads up that this was coming at 1 o'clock this afternoon or so. The peer reviewer called and said, look, I just don't feel comfortable saying you're all set when you didn't do this difference. So I'm just gonna make that as the final comment. And I asked Liz to just, run it quickly, just let's see what the impacts are. Are we talking about moving a 12-inch pipe to a 15-inch pipe?
Right.
Like, was that what the level we're at? She's like, no, it's not even gonna change it that, like, there's not gonna be any changes to our pipes. This will be the third different methodology that's being used to size all the pipes. Allen Engineering, who received the original order and did the original design, sized all the piping based upon another methodology. And so they just used the rational method. And so there's a different method that they used. So Liz is like, these are belts and suspenders. If there is a change, obviously we'll change it. We'll increase the size of the pipe, but we're not talking about, we're talking about a pipe size increasing that would be the worst case scenario. And Liz doesn't see that happening. but, you know, I'm not saying that she'll be 100% correct, which is why I suggest this.
And it
condition.
doesn't change the size of any of the retention ponds or whatever term is the
No.
appropriate
Uh,
phraseology to use.
So this is they break stormwater into two different classifications, hydraulics and hydrology. Hydrology is the big picture water, where water is going to, coming from, and what watersheds are being impacted. And so you're looking at, you know, is this watershed receiving more or less water because of your development? And now those are the standards that you're using to size your detention basins. And direct water, you know, a catchment area saying this entire area should go this way because that design point needs more water or shouldn't see as much water, right? And then there's the hydraulics, which is the actual pipes in the ground, and it's conveying the flow. And so the conveyance system is the question, is the remaining question here, which is this model.
Thank you.
I know Cliff loved the rational method, so
Was that his favorite approach?
that'd be whatever Allen Engineering did. So I think if Hannah, you think that's something that you can get done, I think that's a reasonable request. I can
To
look
put
into
a
it.
condition on the amendment. Yeah, I can do that. I think there were still a couple,
That's if we're thinking
Closing.
closing, which I have some reservations on.
and that's,
It seems like there's gonna be some changes to, or have been some changes over the course of these meetings with some of the individual lots which are changing. I'm thinking the retaining walls and grading and stuff like that, that also, it seems like goes into the whole project that's gonna be part of this amendment. Technically, you're permitted to build a lot of that already if say you pulled your amendment and then you just want to build it as permitted before. But I think assuming you want to go ahead with the amendment and get the house lots figured out, I think we need to be consistent in the drawings on the amended plan and then how it ties in with all the individual lots and the easement language involved with that and all of that. So, because I think Hannah, you had comments about some of them being maybe potentially we would want to see them reduced if possible in open space land specifically, not individual parcels.
just, that was the note that I had shared with you, and then I, sent it to you guys. That was just a couple areas where if we could either reduce new, because there were already retaining walls permitted in open space, so this would hopefully actually make that scenario better by like getting proper easements in there and setting up language for that. So that would be good, but also reducing the amount of new proposed retaining walls, both in open space and in that structural 50-foot setback. Those were the two kind of comments that I had.
So if I may, we received Hannah's message and started taking a look at where we might be able to pull these walls out of that open space area, especially where it's spanning over a property line. Tonight, we've got a couple of lots, lot 10 and 11, where that is the exact scenario where we have a retaining wall that spans over the property line. And in looking at it, the wall height itself will need to get bigger, just because we're pulling it back. And, there's slope coming down that's hitting this retaining wall. If we pull that wall back, the wall has to get higher in order to accommodate that grade difference. But we can do it. We can make that wall 2 feet, 4 feet taller, where it needs to be so that it can remain on the lot. We're in a little bit of chicken and egg where we have the amended order that we're requesting. And we have the spill on of all the lots that then rely on that overall order. And as we go through each one of the lots for approval, there may be minor tweaks that happen on each lot individually as we work through the process. So what I offer or suggest is if there's a way where what I've done in other towns is we still can close and receive the approval, but there's a requirement that we have a set of plans that's required to be submitted that basically encompasses all the changes by the time we get the last approved lot. So it's basically a reconciliation set. That is the permit set that we need to build to. Just because otherwise we may be. You're having, last meeting, we didn't really want to move forward with the lots because the amended order wasn't closed. And we're gonna just, that'll keep happening with this process if.
Well, my thought, like, can the amended order plan be that master plan that you're thinking of then? Because it encompasses the whole site theoretically. So like, in my head, there's nothing stopping us maybe from closing all the individual lots and then closing on the amended one. Because then at that point, all the individual lots will have their specific changes, and then you can encompass that in the amended order, and then we issue that.
The only problem with that is if we're only looking at that one lot and then we close on it and then that somehow impacts the lot of, the way this was done, this is not ideal just because like the original permitted, like it states, you know, these lots, you're not guaranteed to have all of the lots that are on here. You need individual NOIs for all of these lots, but like the limit of work and all of the retaining walls and stuff were approved through that original order. So it is tough doing it so segmented. But I am concerned if we go through with that and permit the plans as proved, if we lose sight of that overall plan when permitting each of the individual lots. I mean, my general only hang up left on this is primarily the retaining walls, because they do span multiple lots and they span into open space. So I think if that was resolved, I think this becomes a lot easier. Just in terms of that being like a large crux of, I think, a lot of the issues with the grade, because if we get the retaining walls specified, then the grading's kind of set. You know, I don't know if that makes sense. And I think part of the other thing that was getting a little confusing is we had talked about very early on in the process, the different house models, which you guys had just received, and we had a conversation with the building inspector, and you were gonna check with your permitting specialist for the buildings to see if any of those could be reduced, or if it, you know, so because if we approve, say, a couple lots because, you know, up top, like 11 and 10, and you need the retaining wall because these lots are this size and we need the houses this size. If you approve that, then there's no opportunity to reduce retaining wall in that area. One of them's, oh, we already got the approval for that.
I would not want to see us making concessions downstream on the retaining wall because we're handheld due to pre-approvals on individual lots.
And if the retaining walls can just be on individual lots, then that could be kept more so as like the overall amended permit, we don't include as many of these retaining walls, but in the individual permit, okay, we want to move the grading up, we're going to add a retaining wall, then that I think makes sense because it's on the individual property and that it's not so much a part of the big umbrella. But it's tough in this case where it's like they're so intertwined, and if you approve a extended limit of work, you can't really take that back
Right.
on an individual.
So you're thinking we do the amended order first?
Yeah.
Set the lines.
Yeah.
For those retaining walls, and then have those edits changed on the individual lots that they would affect.
That's just and you know, if you guys disagree, totally fine. That's just my main concern.
It
It's like,
sounds
if
even
if we have to go backwards on something that's already been approved, which that's already a problem with the original permit, but.
I completely agree, Hannah. If there's anything in this that it kind of creates cramps, it's those walls.
I would say
Not-
utilities too.
Huh?
I would say utilities too.
Okay, we agree that. The walls, not only do they create a division, a boundary wise, creates, if they're here over the line, well, then there's encroachment, and there's also a lifespan concern. And what happens 20 years ago, because these retaining walls do fail. They don't last forever. And who's responsible for that?
And that's something that they've definitely addressed, like, because there will need to be some permanent easements, because there are places where you just do need the retaining walls, and they were approved as part of the last permit, so the permanent easements and the access easements would be, that would solve that, but it's just adding additional retaining walls where we maybe don't need to on open space or within that 50-foot setback. Those were my two concerns.
Is the worry, is like in theory, on the legal side, I understand the concern, but in practice, my understanding, you're not building anything out there until everything is secured permit-wise. So I'm thinking this is us getting our own way at this point.
I think anything that spans across multiple lots should be on the plan.
Agreed,
And I
but
think
that's,
They're retaining so.
because I'm thinking we're gonna be doing individual lots in common groups, right? So if there's a retaining wall that is currently shown in the existing order on the open space parcel, and we're essentially saying we want those on the individual lots, I didn't hear an objection, right? So they're willing to do that. We permit those groups of individual lots. That's now permitted where those go. And then assuming they want to build it as proposed in the updated, the amended order that they've submitted, they'll comply with the fact that we've now issued orders for those individual lots with the retaining walls moved.
Okay, so you mean just for the ones that, like, that they could move on just the lot, so they wouldn't be on open space?
That's what it sounded like they were.
Okay,
agreeing to.
that would work, because then you're not extending it further. Yeah,
There's
that,
not really-
that I
not
don't
an
think so.
easement involved with the open space. It's the individual easements with the HOAs and.
I was just thinking, because there are a lot of. There's just some weird one, but like say 10 and 11, yes, if those just got pushed fully onto the lot, then that would be something that you could permit.
Right.
The only
We
thing
don't-
with that is the 50-foot setback, because
Right.
now we have.
And we don't have a plan for showing that as of now, because those plans have not been updated, because that request came, I guess, today, so.
Well, that was very late last week, right? Or when was it? When was
Thursday,
that?
Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we were receiving.
But yes, very recently.
Can I ask a question on a different subject?
What?
On the August 6th LEC letter. Supplemental HOA maintenance responsibilities, the association is responsible for an annual inspection. Will we be getting a report of that? Almost a certified report by whoever it does, and HOA with signatures, so. We could
Yeah,
put
if
associate a responsibility to it
If you really want.
Because it brings every time.
So
Doesn't even have to read it, she can just get stuff.
It's annual, right? Once a year?
We did that for like every property. Still doing that for every property.
Well,
It's kind of like.
I mean, to be frank, it's better to have them doing that than me going out and look at like,
Yeah.
then there's at least a summary, which is helpful versus.
Well, but I mean, I'm thinking of this too. We don't, if someone puts in a retaining wall at their own house, we never have had them provide us. This is a bigger,
This is more than a retaining wall, it's the placards, the monuments, the
Oh,
fence
oh.
demarcation.
Yeah, this is the open.
I thought you
space.
were just asking them to
No,
inspect the
no.
retaining walls and get back to us all. We have.
I stopped reading the whole thing.
Okay.
Just require them to keep it like in their records or X amount of years.
I'm fine with conditioning, the HO, I think we talked about this, like put the burden on them to
Yeah.
tell Hannah we're still in compliance with those.
I'd like to be able to go through it, pull a report that has some signatures and say, look. 8 months ago, you said this was clear, we now see
It's not, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of towns already that have required our HOAs to provide reports. You know, just maintenance of detention basins or something like that. So, yeah, no.
Paperwork. I like to have cleaned up.
Well,
It's all it does.
It's all in there. It's all on the computer.
Oh, my inbox.
The LACA report will create the message.
No, you
Yes,
just have them keep it in their records, and then when something goes wrong, you say, give me the records, and then I'll.
But what if
And
they
then get
don't?
Yeah, and then they have
keep
never
it?
keeping records, what,
And then you get them.
you just issue
Mhm.
enforcement on that?
Yeah.
Have no history.
No, you gotta have, yeah, you have
the
to.
receipt,
Then you get them.
I also have a question.
it's like the teenager, you know,
I
call
think,
me when you get in,
I think in the.
always come in and say hi.
Talked about, just connecting that drain to the flare down section.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't see that update on the plan. I'm wondering if you.
So Liz reviewed that and does not want to do it. She thinks engineering wise, it's a low flow amount, and she wants to keep the two separate. The issue is also, during a large significant storm event, you can overtop. Or get to the threshold at which the discharge would be tied in at that flared in section, and it can start to back up, and that can create a problem. So her opinion was to leave it as it's designed.
Enough response from me. That's why I think I said, I was like, in.
If it's
she
so
look-
close,
If she
why
looks
would-
at it, if she looks at it and says, hell no, then I trust her opinion. Well, let's go back to the general, how we're gonna permit these, because I think that really puts a wrench in things. I've made my opinion vocal. I'm one of 7, so I'm curious what everyone else thinks.
What's your opinion again, for the record, of course?
Deal with all the individual lots, make those changes on the individual lots, because we're gonna do them in groups anyway. So those retaining walls that go over multiple properties, we'll probably all do. Or we can make it so we do those at the same hearing. And then at that point, ultimately, we kind of hold the fate of the amended order in our hands, right? Like, and they'll want to make those changes that the individual lots add on them to the amended order, and then we take that amended order, close that last as the master plan.
Would that impact your work at all?
No, yeah, either way, we're not closing on the property until we have.
Yeah.
All permits in.
That's kind of what I just said earlier, where it's like, they're not physically not doing anything until everything is closed.
I think that's the key, right? If they were gonna build individual lots,
So
then that would create an issue.
we could tie the approval of every one conditional to the receipt of the master plan.
Oh, yeah, it
You-
would have to.
Yeah.
Is that cool with you, Hannah?
We
Now that
could,
you
we
know?
could condition construction off of that. I don't think we can condition approval, because we'd have to issue it to them within 21 days.
Agreed.
So we could definitely condition,
I mean, they need that to happen to be able to.
I'd like to,
right, no, I'm saying like I don't think individual lots moving forward, because we.
I'd like to create at least some trip mechanism, so if that master plan doesn't happen, something else they need doesn't.
Well, I think this is that.
Yeah, we're essentially creating the master plan by finishing all the lots individually. And then the amended order will follow with those changes. And then at that point, we can deem that for our purposes, that's the master plan, unless there's revisions made post permitting, which then obviously will need to come from us.
Is that cool with you, Hannah?
Yeah. See how good.
I'm just trying to make sure.
Here, let me.
That's exactly what we did when we were developing complex systems. You'd have an overall, so each person or each department would develop, just like these individual lots. You go through each one, and at the end, nothing gets approved until that master plan.
Yeah, we're essentially,
Right.
we're taking these we're making a puzzle, we're putting
Right.
them all together, and then at the end, as long as we're not missing one.
Right, that's the key. And as long as it doesn't accidentally get triggered,
Yeah.
and the master plan gets approved before all the subcomponents are completed.
Conditional and final payment.
Okay. Is that the
Well, that's
secret
that.
to everyone?
Strategy.
Do we just keep continuing? Cause like, I mean, we're gonna vote on what we do with this. hearing, but I
I
don't
think you would just
We
continue.
continue this one, yeah. Unless there's objection to continuing.
Just so I know exactly what I'm doing, we're continuing the amended order.
Yes.
And it will be continued until we've gotten through the final lot. And in the meantime, we'll be updating that plan set based on the feedback we're getting on each lot. We'll then submit that fully reconciled, updated plan set with the changes.
And then at that point, we'll have said, hey, we went through all these individual lots. We don't really need to review this with a fine tooth comb. Right? I mean, we'll.
We just
review
need
it,
to
but-
double check that.
Yeah, but we'll say, hey, we don't have to review the master plan as heavily as we reviewed all the individual ones, because all those changes have been thrown onto the master. And we'll say, we're counting this as.
I don't know, I think you need to verify that every one of those changes
You can do
are
that.
reflected properly in the master.
Go sit in the library.
Thankfully, the way that the model is set up is in AutoCAD,
Right.
and so she's just got viewports zoomed in on each one of these lots instead of like her doing each lot that then does do the puzzle thing. It's all in one model, thankfully.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, she should be able to.
anyone got a motion?
I move to continue this hearing till.
I mean, we're definitely not getting to this one.
That was July.
Oh, yeah,
Just
do
until 8/26, you know?
we want to continue further?
I would do a month at least.
That makes sense, because we'll be going through a lot.
Yeah, we've got a lot of lots to go through.
For 23rd.
Okay.
Continue to September 23rd, do I have a second?
Second. Got you, Don.
You did, you did.
Any discussion?
I just have a question for Hannah, because,
Hates again.
well, I want to make sure, we only talked about the retaining wall. Were there other issues related to the master? Other than the retaining wall issue? Because that kind of encompasses those.
Just that and then the outstanding stormwater stuff, but that's, that last email was, it seemed like they were pretty much good, so.
Can I just ask one more thing? Sorry. With, we have a seller who's pushing us to get closed as quickly as we can. Just a question. The 23rd, do you think that we would be ended up being able to close on the 23rd, or do you think that this will spill into October?
Oh, of the amended order, like, so everything would be done on the 23rd?
Yeah.
I'm also thinking about if there's a situation that comes up because of one of the lots and you want to make a comment on the overall amended permit, if it would make sense to just keep it on there, and if we don't have to talk about it, we don't have to talk about it, but if there is something that anyone would like to add to the signature.
Yeah, they were equal lots.
Continue them, or to continue this one to the next hearing, so if we have to open it, we can.
Yeah, if something comes up based on going through each of the individual lots where you're like, I want to make a comment about that, just so we're not like, oh no, now can we not say it? Do we have to wait until the 23rd to like talk about the full plan?
Then I move amend to the next one, the August 26th.
I second. I amend my seconding.
Discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
Guess we didn't really answer.
Well, I think
No, but
what it
that
allows us to.
that helps a lot, because if there's, what I feared was, we're not gonna say anything about the amended order until the end of September, and then we're gonna start a whole new discussion on the amended order that then would be 6 hearings long or whatever it is. This way, if things do come up, we can be talking about the amended order at the same time.
Like,
Gotta
frankly,
put them all at once next time.
I don't think we're gonna be done with all the lots by September 23rd, just
Yeah.
by sheer volume. Not that they're difficult, but like just the amount of time it takes her to throw them all together in 21 days, that's kind of tough.
Who's pressuring you? The seller?
I think it's, I can't just say it's the seller, I'd say that Toll Brothers as a whole would like get started on the
Well,
project.
I just.
So
wrote it
everyone's
up for
pressuring
you,
you?
so you don't have to. You can just read it off that.
Wow.
A little bit easier than reordering these.
You have a script for the whole meeting?
Yeah.
Wow.
So organized.
We have to be very kind to her.
And
You're gonna be the only agent I've ever seen do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I kind of just with Mike's stuff, I was like, it might be good to start just doing that
Makes
to
it
make
easier.
things easy if anybody has to step in.
I'm actually gonna continue the public hearings first, that were continued, just get them out of the way. So we've received a request to continue the public hearings on these lots, which are notices of intent. For lots 13, 16 through 21, 67, 77 through 82, 85 through 88, 93 through 95, and C2 through C4 of Redmill on the Charles, at Mechanic Street and Mill Street. Applicant told Northeast B4, represented by Madden Lacey, he's not here. Motion to continue, anybody? To the evening of the 26th of August.
Second, yep.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous vote, great. Okay. Now I will. And I'll make a motion, no, I'm just gonna open, I'm not making a motion. I'm opening the continued public hearings for 10 individual notice of intent applications, lots 10, 11, 12, 14, 83, 84, 89, 90, 91, 92 of Red Mill on Charles, Mechanic Street and Mill Street, applicant Total Northeast V Corp, Representative Brian Madden, LAC Environmental Consultants, on vacation. Sophie.
Thank you.
So those are 10, 11,
You should be
12,
able to share.
14.
Yes, it was a good feeling. Keep them,
I have.
Oh, right, you can.
Oh,
You're focused on
Yeah.
letting participants share.
Which plan set are we opening?
So this will be lot number 10. Which is exactly what we just talked about. It has the situation specific to the concern. So we have a retaining wall. So this is lot 10, we have the retaining wall that spans the property line. You can see a cursor right here. The red line, the back of this lot right here does constitute the end of the lot. And so this retaining wall section right here is on the open space, and we'd be able to just take this line starting in lot number 11 and just carry it along the back property line right here. So that retaining wall would grow from 5.5 feet tall at that point to probably 8 feet tall. But it would stay on the lot, therefore would have the taller fence. The black fence.
Is there any? Trying to think now, is that, you'll have to take more out of the open space parcel at that point to meet that grade up at the property line?
No.
Okay.
Should be able to. You know, there'll still be grading within the open space, but it wouldn't be the permanent structure.
Okay.
And I did still, this was the one that we'd had the comments about. If there was any opportunities to reduce the size of the structure and potentially pull the grading and retaining walls in further.
And did we say that the structural designs have come in, so we know that?
Yeah, so that was, those were submitted for the last meeting, I believe, it was exhibit 19, models of homes. And I did speak with the building inspector, and he had noted if the concern was having 2 egress points, that you could potentially have a smaller decking or add a door to the garage. Jeff had said he was gonna speak to his permitting team about that, or if there were distance requirements necessary for that, and if there was any opportunity to reduce.
So I talked to our permitting in-house code consultant and he thought exactly what I had said. But he didn't, he's not actually a code consultant, so we went out to an architect, I haven't heard back yet. How much we can, if we can. Only rely on like a front door with a garage door next to it. The garage door itself, I know you cannot use as an egress, it would have to be a man door.
Right.
But the overarching, the architect indicated, you know, generally, you're gonna want the back of the house to have a door if it's possible, so having a landing back there would be important. Even if it's not considered necessary for emergency egress, it would be, you know, having somebody be able to look out their back door. Would be very important. I'm sorry.
Right.
Were there any opportunities to like reduce the size of that though, that might
As far as like so
impervious coverage and like, be able to grade it a little bit?
So the grading's really not gonna change regardless, just because we're already at a relatively steeper slope going down to the retaining wall. So the grading is gonna remain as it is, but the structure itself is what you're asking. I can ask what we can do.
Yeah, I think the question was if you can reduce the structure, will that reduce the amount of grading that's necessary?
So we talked about through with Liz, if even by reducing the structure, that's not gonna impact the grading that's necessary. Cause it's already a walkout basement, so the lower level is already set at that lower elevation. So where the front driveway, basically it's all set from the roadway. The roadway sets your driveway minimum pitch to the garage, which sets your first floor. Then from there, there's a basement. And so that's what sets that peak elevation. And then you see the 240 and the 238 contours diving into the home. That's where your grade starts to go down. And that's the steepest, basically mowing grade that we would design for.
And then going to the height of the retaining wall.
And so, yeah, and so.
So the wall on 12 or 11 is already 888.
Correct.
So you're just mirroring that on,
Yes.
okay.
The depth on the house is identical regardless of the footprint, you're saying?
No, so the depth of the house may end up changing because we're showing you as if they were to pick the deepest hole with all.
This is like the maximum.
This is the maximum they would choose. But what I'm saying is that even if they end up choosing the smallest home, the grading impacts would be the same.
This is just a global concern, Hannah, on trying to reduce.
Yeah, essentially. Just because when we had originally spoken about it, you know, when this first came up back in, when's the first one? This was like an original comment back from January, February, March, was just, can we see the homes? Because it was like, oh, we need the walkout because that's necessary. And then the architecturals didn't, it was a little confusing because the architecturals didn't like show the back of the homes either. It was just the
Like an
layout.
You're
I
looking
think
for an
it
elevation.
shows like a.
I don't, that, I just talked to the building inspector about it, and he was like, it's tough to see what they're showing in the back, just because there's no, like, it doesn't show the back of what the home looks like, it doesn't show
Oh, an
walkouts.
elevation. Okay. So you want to see an elevation?
Or are you asking just to see it physically, a model of what the back of the house is gonna?
That's what the building inspector was saying, to be frank,
guys have,
I
like-
don't really look at architecturals ever, so I was
You
like,
have,
I
like,
don't know.
A 3D model or something, or even, I guess, like prints or something that show the back of a model?
He just said this doesn't show the back, I'm not sure where the walkout is
Yeah.
on it, and I was like, I don't look at these, and that's why I asked you.
We don't really look at the 3D, we just,
It's just the footprint usually.
I guess my question for you, Hannah, then is the global concern is just reducing footprint in racehorse area,
Yes,
obviously.
Yep.
It's hard to see.
I guess I'm less concerned about the outer
yeah,
than I am the inner 50.
yeah. I think that was more so, if that happens, can we reduce grading? We would reduce need for retaining walls being in the 50 foot. That was the crux of the concern.
So
But
it
yeah,
sounds
if
like-
it's in the outer 50, I mean, that's not as
Well,
big.
and it sounds like they can't even.
And it
if
was
they-
already permitted as well, to at least clear to there, so as part of the original permit, it was more so the new structure in the 50.
And it sounds like based off his answer, even if the house is the smallest version of the house, the site's gonna stay relatively the same grading wise.
I feel like that is kind of part of the reason that we, like, that there's so much impact on these individual lots. And it was because like, on the overall plan, like, the open space was kind of proposed as like a mitigation for some of that, and then there's some other mitigation areas that like made this relatively small impact overall.
Yeah, that wasn't the crux of the overall comment, it was more so because of the new retaining wall. That was all. Depends on how you guys feel about what we're.
I mean, if you or I guess any other member of the commission wants a more robust response to that request. I mean, I don't think we're closing on 10 right now, because we still need to see the updates to the retaining wall.
Dated plan.
Right. Like if you want.
I can like put together the language and everything and get that ready for the next meeting.
And it sounds like he's still waiting on a response from the architect, so if we want more of a robust,
Well,
here's
what
why we can't do this.
what I said, so. As far as the code is concerned, I don't have an answer today, but the architect did say, regardless of the code requirements, what they come back with. A homeowner is gonna wanna have a back door to their house, they don't wanna have two exits that go out the front door, right? So there's a value in having a back door.
So there could be they could take the position of, I guess we physically could do it, but we're not proposing to do it because
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense for a home, which at that point, we just have to make a judgment call.
And that was more so, if reducing that and taking away the back entrance would allow them to reduce some of the grading and not have their, it's all just,
Yeah, yeah.
can this reduce the amount of retaining wall?
Right.
That's all it is.
So do you think you're comfortable that we have an answer to that now, that it sounds like probably not?
I mean, maybe, I'm not like an engineer, so I don't know. That's more so my concern is I don't know. So I feel like I can't confirm or deny that. It's definitely not my area of expertise. I could ask the building inspector if we wanna go back to it, but depends on what you guys are comfortable with.
I mean, he's gonna move it onto the lot, so I'm fine with that. Even if it's 8 feet tall, it's gonna be quite the.
On lot 11, if the bottom of the wall is, if the wall height is 8'8". How much of the wall is in the earth?
The structural engineer would have to set that depth, These are likely gonna be modular block walls, is what I would expect. So they're self-supporting, there's geogrid, what they call geogrid, that kind of anchors into the retaining wall modular blocks itself and ties into the earth that's backfilled behind it.
Yeah.
And so the depth, you don't actually have to go that deep.
Alright,
It's like a footing, it's like
It's
shallow.
It's a footing that's set on gravel, so you have some drainage that can get, you don't want hydrostatic pressure building up behind it. But that's geogrid.
Yeah, I've seen that.
how much do they move in freeze thaw cycles?
No, that was a huge one.
It's still move.
Oh, yeah. I was asking about one example of that over at. I mean, it's the same general construction, but there's much more pushing on that wall there than here.
Which one are you thinking of, area?
Like Whole Foods that
Yeah,
collapsed.
still in the field?
Yeah. That's like, what, 45, 50 feet tall too?
Also has a lot more vibration on a daily basis.
But also, also to, you know, previously, before the amended order came in, these were gonna be the town's walls responsibility. That's no longer the case. So if these show, we have I think it's a 36-month cycle, we have to have a structural engineer come out and review these walls based upon our condition requirement. If there is noticeable wear, fracturing, anything to the wall, where it's falling, anything, we're gonna have to, the HOA is gonna have to hire a company to come in and repair and fix those walls.
That's the primary goal.
Right. So I'm looking at 11 now, that change to lot 10 is obviously gonna change the wall slightly on 11, just to meet that. 12, it doesn't seem like it's gonna change at all. That's fully within the lot and just kind of like a small section of it. Or I already asked this, asked about the architect stuff. So it doesn't sound like we're ready to close on either of these three.
It would more so be the updated plan. I mean, I can check with building inspector just to confirm, but I think it would just more so be the new plans.
Right.
Might have just, instead of, the building inspector won't understand grading as well, if you have a town engineer. Just because this,
Small town Massachusetts.
Yep. You lost Rob, so.
just because it's not. He can tell you about how you set a first floor elevation based upon a roadway and certain grades that we need to meet. But understanding the grading associated with the slope behind it, it might be an engineering question.
See if there's anyone we can reach out to.
If we're gonna be, this is general too, if we're gonna be requesting a change in grade to any of these sites, is Time Bond gonna have to redo all their storm calcs?
No, so the cover types, everything, the cover types generally won't change. If anything, you know, we're gonna be going to more plantings, slowing water down, not speeding it up.
Yeah.
They have a time of concentration, as we were talking earlier, is at 6 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on what methodology. So they're already at the lowest possible rate, so the stormwater management calculations won't change. If anything, you're gonna have a more conservative output under today's versus under the future.
I'll be frank, and I'm not super concerned about reducing footprints for these types of lots that are just within. Like out of 50 of but
All right, next lot, Mickey.
That's 14.
So we can't close 12, for example.
Don't we have to adjust the retaining wall? on the
no,
wall?
that part of on 12 isn't gonna move.
Oh, okay.
11 and 10, it looks like it would. I agree.
I think maybe that block shall be continued until the plan.
I mean, if the plan's not gonna change and you are all comfortable with what's on there, I don't have a problem with closing 12, it's more just. if
Well, it gives you an
guys
opportunity
are-
to actually get one
You guys
done.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's fine with me, as long as you guys are fine with what's on there.
The retaining wall on lot 11 and 10, which are shown in that. Will change.
Right, will the grading change on 12?
No, nothing.
Okay.
12 is gonna remain as it is. 11 will change. 10 will change based upon these revisions. And this lot order will be bounded by the lot itself. So even if in a viewport, you're seeing a little bit of a grading change on 11, it's not gonna apply to this order. That makes sense.
Well, how about we come back to it later? And keep moving on to all of them, and then we can vote on which ones to close and which ones. Want to continue?
When's the next?
We beat one, yeah.
14?
14. That looks great.
Surprised we didn't do this one last year. It is.
Any questions on that one?
What's on the end of that footing drain? Is there a detail for that? Is it just bare pipe?
Doesn't find out.
That goes right to the open space parcel, right?
Usually when an engineer says typical, it means there's detail associated with it.
Yeah.
These footing drains are not accessible in the structure, correct?
No, no,
No, that's not correct, or?
no, they are not accessible inside the.
And do we have signage noted on this? Am I missing?
There's a detail for the no disturb zone, and I think there's markers put out.
Yeah, I don't,
They're like little squares.
man, maybe I'm just not seeing it right. I remember seeing it on others, I just don't see it.
It's there right in the bottom.
Oh, right there, yep.
There's two on the top, and then there's like a big distance of missing it, and then one on the bottom corner. So we'd probably want a fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's close that gap.
So,
Do you see that?
yeah, one in the middle. You should at least have, I think.
Essentially, almost in line with the corner, the southern corner of the house. So that's, yeah.
Well, a conservation marker added to them.
Okay, 83 next.
And you know.
Oh, this is the pump station one.
But, yeah.
Do you remember?
I can blow it up. She's faster than I am.
Oh, this one's not me, this is all Jeff.
Are we closing 14?
Like, we're gonna determine what we're gonna close after we go through them all.
Or if one, I'm thinking if one is very simple, as we go through, probably just get it out. This one I have no concerns over. This one,
Yeah, feels fine with me.
there's a good space on the open space markers.
Does DPW need to do anything with the pump station, like approve the location or anything?
They already have, so DPW has reviewed this, they've gone out to peer review, as part of the original. Subdivision approval, and they filed a notice of project change with NEPA to review and approve their acceptance of the sewer pump stations, so they are involved in this process.
By approving 83 doesn't mean that we're approving the pumping station too, right?
Yeah, it's on the line.
It's part of the law.
It's part of, it's actual part of.
I mean, we're approving footprint, right? Like, we're not really approving any of the equipment or anything. We don't really have much jurisdiction.
No, I was thinking more about, what if they came back and they said they needed more space or they needed something else?
So you have to get it amended.
Right,
Yeah.
right, okay. Right. So
do you want to go through all of them, or do you, if it's an easy one, do you want to just get it done?
I think that's it, rather than trying to
Go back.
and forth.
Oh, I
If
think
there's
you-
any other conditions outside of the
I think you did
the
great.
draft thing that I did, I didn't know if there was anything associated with the pump station. I can't think of anything associated with lot 83 that we spoke about before, but
I'm always concerned about a pump station failure, and what does that do when it's directly adjacent to wetlands? But I don't know if there's anything we can do.
yeah, I think it's approved.
Yeah.
There's a risk in everything you do.
But
I
yeah,
haven't
so
keeping
I'd be
notes
fine
though,
with
of like
it.
which one we're probably not gonna approve and which one, or which ones we're gonna continue, which one we approve. Which has not been lot 14, it's lot 12.
Oh, no, I didn't have an issue with lot 14 either, other than that,
Can we approve the middle block?
Well,
Not
I'm hoping
the-
at the end, we could be like, all right, it's like. Whatever.
well, I think some of them might have individual conditions, I think that's,
Yeah, that's the only concern. If there's things specific to that lot that you would like to note before we close out, if we've just been talking about it, it's just a little bit easier.
All right, go back to lot 12.
we can do 83 while we're here, but you need.
Yeah.
Fine,
I'll make a motion to approve lot 83 and issue an order of conditions.
So,
discussion. Anyone from the public? No, James? All right, all in favor?
Alright.
A unanimous vote.
Wow, we checked it off.
You can tell you're
Yeah, less
selling,
pressure now.
you can tell that you're making progress, yeah.
1% done, maybe?
What was the,
We got three, give it.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
not we,
Yeah, you can sign them.
Hannah got 3 done,
All right,
We
let's
saw
go back for lot 12.
back to
All
3.
right, so that, oh. This one.
I mean, we could vote to approve this way, I mean, I'm a little uncomfortable with the fact that the retaining wall is gonna change, it's visible in there.
Yeah, we're only approving the limit of the lot.
Right.
I
You
mean,
just put like a big white square.
I move to approve lot 12 and issue an order of condition.
second,
Discussion, public, nope, alright, all in favor?
I
Aye, so unanimous vote. Vote, hang on.
I thought you were like, need to find. Need to find me.
this one would have the special condition, Parker. Yes, and did you get an answer from Liz on the footing drain? I know, I think you sent her a text or
I
something.
did, I did send her a text, and she has not responded to it. She might be presenting on hearing right now.
I'll be honest, I don't necessarily wanna approve that without having that typical of what that's gonna look like.
What's that, the,
Footing drain, well, actually, that's not even
That's
the
not-
lot, it's
yeah.
off the lot,
so,
so,
but
It's a
we
problem.
could discuss that now next hearing about on the amended order.
yes. Cause that might be a global comment, that might be required for everything, so.
And that's, I mean, all the footing drains are on that like easement exhibit, right?
Yes,
If they go into.
yes, yeah, yes, yeah.
Alright, well, then I will move to approve F 14 and issue an order of conditions with the special condition on the added, open space marker.
Second.
Discussion. I vote no. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Unanimous vote, although it sounds like Steve won't say anything.
I said
You on your toes.
said I.
What's next?
84, I think. Oh, he's fast. I mean, no, I bother, he just gets it up in a second.
This one could use an additional.
Yeah, the spacing's a little odd. I'm thinking move the middle one left and then add a fourth one on the right in the 100. I don't know what the spacing is on, like, what was a good example?
Just shoot just more one on each end and one in the middle, but I agree, it looks like might have been a miss.
We usually say what, like one every 25 feet or something?
On the overall orders, it's usually one on each
Oh,
edge and then in the middle. When we do the posts, if you're just doing posts, we do like 15 to 20 feet. But for the markers, it's usually just midline and then the ends, unless it's a large one and there's like weird squiggles or something. But I mean, it always helps when there's more. I will never,
right.
yeah, especially if it's a larger lot line.
Yeah.
Just add one more on there.
Yeah, what is
Said-
it, about
said-
100 feet?
Like how long, how wide is that back?
Yeah, so
It looks like 50 or
20,
60 feet
30.
based on the 10-foot setbacks.
maybe 70 or 80.
So, yeah, just maybe move it a little bit, add another one. And then I guess we should add I know we've already voted on the other one, but as part of the special condition for any that we're adding a marker, we need a condition saying we need the plan in hand before we start a construction. No other comments on 84? I'll move to approve lot 84 as conditioned and issue an order of conditions.
Seconded.
Discussion? Public, no. Are all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous vote.
Next one, I think, was, we say 89. 89. All right, let's see what we have here.
Now, this is a different situation because that footing than typical is on the lot.
Yeah, that is.
Gosh, so much of it.
I mean, the detail can still be part of the overall plan, right?
Hmm.
The details of the thing can still be part of the overall plan.
You mean the master? I think, well, yeah, it will be at, I guess, the end, but I'm not sure I'm comfortable approving something without having the detail that the plan says is on there.
Do it subject to a condition that's on the master.
I mean, the flow coming out of the footing drain is supposed to be non-existent to a trickle.
It's
So
more of,
if you wanted to see some stone at the end on this lot, you can condition it for adding stone at the discharge or at the opening of the footing drain.
yeah, I think it's just, like, I was probably am thinking, well, talking about conditioning it as having a plan updated to have the typical in there. Because once we approve it, that's the plan of record, right? So I want to make sure that's the plan for the lot. That's why I was fine moving on with the other one, because it was on the open space parcel, so. If everyone else is comfortable with that, I am.
Or what about even like conditioning it, like the footing drain will follow the construction proposed on the master plan.
I think the homeowner would probably want the detail of what that's gonna be on the plan record too, when you buy the house.
I mean, wouldn't they all be kind of interrelated in the registry of deeds?
No, this is only on this lot.
But the lot would be part of condominium, the associated.
No, this is this is one of the single family lots.
This is
89.
But it's gonna have an HOA, so it's essentially, is it a condominium association kind?
It's a homeowners association.
they're all individually responsible for their own lot.
And agree with James. About the plan.
Yeah, I think we can approve it just with the, like the condition you said of getting just the plan updated. With that, I'm assuming Time Block can do that. That's just adding the typical rate, so that's easy. Okay, I'll move to approve lot 89 as discussed and conditioned with the plans to be updated prior to construction, or yes, prior to construction. And issue an order of conditions.
So moved. I'll second it, I guess.
Same thing.
That's fine.
Discussion from the public, no. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nicole?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, next one's 90.
Same condition.
Do you have a 90 or 90?
Check it online. This 90.
Thanks to 89.
It just jumps on my thing, it jumps right to 20.
They might have been in two different batches, and
Oh,
when I shoved them all together, things get a little out of order sometimes. I'm just control F and I'm in control F.
All right, this one. All right, what do we have? Footing drain? Markers.
it's like an identical lot.
I know, I thought I was looking at
Yeah,
the
it
same
looked like I
thing.
didn't even move it.
Um, I'll
Yeah, the same as prior.
lot 90 and with the conditions mentioned for lot 89, and just for their notes as they showed order of conditions.
Second. Oh, it's just over him with talking, but that's fine. Like, I know what he's gonna say.
Discussion, anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
How many is that?
6.
Damn it. What's your limit?
That's fine.
You-
We can definitely do at least 10.
Okay.
Now that I have the baseline and we went through the first trial 3, it will go faster for sure.
So this one is what, 91?
These are pretty simple issues.
Footing drains
And this one's got the hook,
or into the buffer.
This one's got what?
a little hook on the outside. of the building.
Little bump out.
It juts out.
Oh. Is that where the walkout would be? Or, I mean, this is, I guess, a model of a model, so.
Yeah, it's a model of a model. That was the main common area.
It's kind of a funky, yeah, it looked tiny.
Can you go back to 90? Yeah, I just want to see the building shape. Oh, sorry.
Why is this
Yeah.
not in the plan set?
And a number 2 open.
I couldn't find it either.
What?
The last two are not in the plan set.
Were these ones not did these ones have the open space markers already on there so they didn't get,
They did not get updated.
okay, so that's why.
Oh, I was looking at
There-
that updated thing you
Yeah,
said. Oh, okay.
the individual lot plan updates compiled, that was, so because these ones didn't get updated, they must not have been added.
I guess my question is, would you be amenable to essentially copy pasting those other smaller model properties and keeping those footprints to reduce the impact in the inner 50?
So 90 has limited, so we have so not all options and all homes are going to be allowed on that lot, which is why it's that smaller home type.
Okay.
This lot, we included the larger. If we wanted to, on 91, if we wanted to cut off this bump out here,
Right,
that's.
yeah, because I was thinking the same thing.
Guess whatever win we can get on
Yeah,
you know,
Affects
reducing
the-
impact, right?
and it's not a significant impact, so with that change. Yep.
I just moved to 91, just so you're aware.
Yep.
Is that something we want updated plans for before we issue?
I would say
Night properties, because it's part of the structure.
All right, so then 92.
92 only has 3 square feet of upper living area, or that's the only in the. Oh, it's the only one.
Yeah.
So back to that smaller.
Yep.
I mean, I guess on principle, I want to do the same thing here, but it's also so de minimis that
Yeah.
it almost doesn't matter, you know?
The footing drains there too, I just noticed.
A little wider too, maybe you could use another open space marker.
Yeah, roughly how wide is that backyard? What's the scale, 40?
And it looks like maybe it's only 35 feet.
It's probably every like 30 feet. I mean, they're gonna see them too, because they got like a 2-foot backyard.
Yes, it was 20.
Their backyard. 10, 15 feet. Is that from, that's from the structure though.
18.
Yeah, so it's
I
about
forgot you
40
have blue
feet.
beam. Yeah, you got the
Understood.
fancy stuff. 40 feet.
Yeah.
So add another one?
Mhm.
I would first want to be consistent, probably.
Have you ever tried to open a CAD plan in Adobe? Just crashes.
No, it automatically goes to my CAD viewer.
I meant like a PDF to CAD plan.
Oh,
Crashes. Can't handle the comments.
All right, so what do we want to do with this one?
I think, I mean, if I could suggest a motion, it would be the same roof or same footing drain, detail, and then an additional open space marker. And move the one in the middle down about 20 feet.
Yeah.
Or one way about 20 feet.
I make the motion that Arian suggested.
Yep, seconded already. Okay.
Discussion, anybody from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. So, all of them for today?
That is,
So to continue to,
So 10 and 11 are the only ones we didn't.
10, 11, and 90.
Right, and 90.
Oh, and 90 was.
Square the Chelsea.
I mean, to continue lots 10, 11, and 92, August 26th.
Seconded.
discussion, anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, it's vote.
7 out of 10 is not bad.
Gives you some work to do.
You're gonna start sending you meetings just by yourself because you're accomplishing so much more. Statistically.
I would say take those comments for those 3 lots too and look at the other lots.
Yeah, yeah.
that have yet to come, and then,
Yeah.
maybe try to make some sessions.
Head them off, yeah.
Yeah,
Appreciate your time this evening.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds like that's yours, right? Other business. Good night.
Take care.
Right, did everyone have a chance to review the minutes of July 22nd?
If not. Where are they? Oh, there they are, draft, July 20th.
I believe we should change vice chairman to vice chairperson.
Definitely be chair. I think that
Madam Chair.
we did vote to change it to
Chair and
chairperson,
vice chair.
but I think chair is shorted.
What's typing?
Okay,
Yeah, I didn't have. We could,
Okay, we could just put it off to the next meeting.
oh, definitely review or.
I mean, that's a long now, this would be about.
I know, that's the.
Hard to skim them down.
Aquatic vegetation management, Silver Lake and Jenks Reservoir, discussion and updates. We did look at this one.
Yeah.
Scrap it.
Yeah, at this point, I'm like, I'm not sure what we do here because it's, I don't know. The quotes I was getting back were just like way more than I expected, / also like the vendors themselves weren't going to really be like that do the aquatic management weren't really gonna be able to help put together the notice of intent. So we would have to go find someone else, and then I was kind of like, should we be doing that ourselves or should that? I mean, because it is, the town administrator is really the applicant, and that was the applicant on the old NOI and order of conditions,
Town administrator should manage this.
and that might be something that we have a conversation about.
I mean, I think that it would be whoever proposes it who would do it for us. I do think the water and wetland quote seemed reasonable for what they were proposing, which was essentially a feasibility study on what alternatives would work. And I think that was kind of what Pam and I had discussed about, like, just using dipot over and over again, like, dipot this, dipot that, like.
Yeah, that was something that I like sent out a couple requests for proposals from a bunch of different people. I kind of split it into 2 chunks, like one for doing some monitoring and making proposals for the next 5 years, and then also preparing the notice of intent. That using those my brain is bad.
Pesticides?
No, like
Or
using
pesticides?
whatever they said that we should do for those 5 years of management. Yeah, that, or just using their recommendations to craft the new notice of intent application. So they definitely did say they could assist with that, but they didn't have crafting the notice of intent in there. So that's, I think, the big difference between the like funds for the.
But it's like $11,000 for survey reporting, giving recommendations and supporting narrative.
Correct.
That's not even including the physical.
Right, I that is like.
Colin Gosling.
And
No,
I mean,
I think
that's part of the thing, when you're looking for like, this is the other side of people that are.
Yeah.
Trying to
Right.
get proposals for this stuff, like, they're coming up with numbers like this, and it's
I
It's
feel like that
definitely
is,
tough.
there's surveying and reporting on Silver Lake and Jenks Reservoir.
I just don't think we need to be spending $3,500 on them running an NOI narrative. We can cut that immediately.
Oh, that's not even. Yeah, and that's just the narrative.
Right, that's what I'm
You
saying.
guys
Like,
know how much things cost today?
oh,
This is a totally reasonable amount.
it,
Like-
it is not for us. Like, we don't need them to write an NOI narrative. I think
Well,
if the goal is to understand, like, to survey this area and understand with recommendations what we should be doing in the future, we're not even thinking of an NOI right now. We're thinking of what we should do.
Thinking of both, 'cause the current permit ends at the end of this year. So to do treatment in the spring, we do need a new notice, or we could, I guess, extend. I guess what's another extension after this long?
Especially if we're planning on changing the methodology significantly, we might as well give ourselves the time to really do it right.
Well, what we were talking about,
Those guys are related to
me and Pam was like. If, like, we've been extending it for like 20+ years, so we need, but like, we looked into alternatives and there's like a lot to consider. So that's what this is proposing. I am a little surprised that they did include the NOI narrative in this proposal, because I think the price will depend on what they recommend. So, like, but
Well,
I
I
was
think
kind
that's
of-
just them putting together the narrative for it. It's not them doing the rest of that.
Just what, like $3,500 for them to write?
Right,
3
which we
pages?
did from our current vendor. I mean, that was kind of how we first started this discussion, was they gave us some language about what they think we should do moving forward for the next couple of years, and they included that as a narrative. And I think you guys were looking for more.
Like the narrative is essentially going to be the management recommendations bulked up a little bit.
I mean, Solitude knows how to do an NOI, and interestingly, all 3 of these people worked for Solitude until June 2020.
And I have outreached to Solitude. The guy that I've been speaking back and forth with went on vacation for a little bit, so then they put me in touch with somebody else, and I'm just kind of waiting till he comes back so I don't have to have the same conversations I've been having for a while, like with
Well, I'm saying,
another
like,
person.
These guys probably do know, or maybe it wasn't clear in the proposal that they needed to write an NOI, prepare an NOI.
Well, I think that's what they're saying, is they don't provide that service. They can do the narrative, but they don't do the rest of the NOI prep.
But they know how to do it, so maybe
No, I think they're saying that that's not something that they do.
they're from Solitude.
We can't force someone to.
Right,
write
but I
an
think
NOI for us.
Solitude assisted with the narrative and the research, but I don't know if they prepared the NOI themselves.
They've done NOI.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, I haven't
I mean, if there's.
gotten that response
If
back
they
from them.
physically
I'm just
said to
saying
her,
they,
we are not willing to do the NOI, then that's, I mean, flat out, that's the answer.
Yeah, but I don't think that discussion's happened.
Oh, I thought you asked.
yeah, no, I was like, hey, can you send me stuff for this? And they said, we can do a narrative.
Conflict of interest.
Or you can reach out to
Not
someone
super
like Goddard
complicated.
to help with that. But they didn't say that they could do the narrative. I mean, they could prepare the rest of the notice of
The
intent.
company doesn't.
Like, hey,
want
cuz, you wanna write this for us?
They
Well,
could,
there's a lot
like,
of-
some of
oh,
these
I mean,
could
they're not
get a
like
contractor to do it.
Right, they're not like
They
wetlands.
literally have working land underwater.
Right, but it's a little, I mean, it's a little bit of it.
I don't know,
I mean,
that's-
I know all the wetland
that's
protection
gonna
stuff.
be-
I don't know how to do their
It's
job.
giving me the vibe of like this engineer that I talked to a week who was like, yeah, we don't need a wetlands permit for fill in the floodplain. And I was like,
Well, they know they need a permit. I'm just saying, I don't think they have staff they don't have like a wetlands permitting person for
they
that
put more
portion.
hours of your time on the proposal.
Can we write our
That's
own?
number 2, file
Well,
notices
and that's
of
kind
intent
of,
for the
it
water
seems like
bodies.
there's a little bit of.
12 grand.
Like, I don't think I can be doing that, so
Like,
that's.
one of us writes it.
Nope.
Yeah,
No?
I think.
I mean,
they
if
have
you
to.
physically write it, you'd have to recuse yourself from the hearing for sure.
And then I could go sit there and say, here's all my information.
I think we have to have more of a conversation with, like, town administrator and.
The other
Yeah,
problem,
what's-
you
what's the
technically.
appropriate
stand
process
to
to
gain.
use?
'Cause
But to
just
pay somebody
the
that kind of
last
money
one
to write
from
an
the
NOI.
90s, like, it's just, it's hard to tell how that process.
If we-
Totally reasonable price,
if
but
we-
they're not writing the NOI, is my understanding.
Well, the one that I just looked at, it was 12 grand to write, it said to write the intent.
Oh,
I do agree that we want a survey. I mean, we've just been, we wanna see what's possible, we wanna.
I definitely want alternatives, cause like, I wouldn't be surprised if the whole bottom of the lake is just backlot. It's not even sediment, it's just backlot.
You saying alternative vendors or alternatives, the total alternatives analysis?
Solutions.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
personally, I think like, maybe we gotta dredge the lake, it's gonna be expensive. I like that the guy worked for Triumvirate, he knows about hazardous waste, cause we got some in there, and like. Yeah, so like, it's gonna be expensive, but I think it's gonna be a better solution than like putting more dicot in the aquifer,
I would,
drinking water aquifer.
I'm fine with this scope minus task three, because one, we don't need an NOI narrative at the moment. And that's too expensive for them to write 3 pages worth of what they're already gonna be providing us for $750. So if we wanna move forward on like the survey and the alternatives and the recommendations, yeah, tasks 1 and 2 are reasonable enough to.
I agree with that.
And they did discuss potential alternatives. They include, like, they say herbicide, but they also say like other methods, mechanical harvesting, hydro raking, and holding. Like, I kind of felt like our current vendor was like also like an herbicide dealer, like, yeah, I specialize in herbicide and herbicide application.
I think it's also based on what we permitted and the town's funding mechanism for that. I think that was the balancing act that they were working. It is much more expensive, and for the goals that they had when they were putting this together, it was like, that's the methodology that we're going with. Because in the original, I don't know if you've looked at the original NOI, they did go the application.
Yeah.
They went through all of the other alternatives that they were looking at.
It's not what I saw. Kind of like
In the
3
application?
paragraphs. Yeah, it was like 3 paragraphs, and it was like, yeah, this pesticide's great, and that pesticide's great, and this one's great.
There was like mechanical methodology, or they had in the original one from the 90s in their application, not in the order of conditions, in the application. They went through a couple different.
That was like the same.
Yeah, so that I think is the order of conditions. Okay, I'm not sure. From what I saw, it did look like they looked at a couple different options, and that was what they went with, which is why we've gone with that. But you know, you can look into other options. I think it was just weighing the like you said, the pricing I think was a huge factor in that.
It sounds like we're gonna have some.
Something that's interesting to me, remember all of the things we were told about the Procelicor, whatever that was?
Fantastic.
Yeah, how it was gonna like resolve the issue and you only need minor splash easement. When you look at the water and wetland references, they do reference lakes that they treated with the however it's pronounced. And they're only getting 90% plus achievement, which is the same as their other herbicide management that is not the Procelicor. So I think it might just be kind of the same as what the other one's done, and we were being a little bit oversold, as I kind of suspected we might have been.
I mean, you do have to change up the pesticides sometimes, or herbicides technically, they just subgroup pesticides, but like, the reason for that is because you get the pesticide resistant plants, and then those dominate, so then it doesn't work anymore, which is why you just can't throw dicot at stuff, even though dicot is terrible, like, it's literally the same structure as dioxin and PCBs, and it just works by like, there's this radical oxygen stuck in the middle of 2 rings, and it just like takes everything and just reacts with it. Doesn't matter if it's a fish, if it's a plant, just reacts with it and kills it.
Aren't we not allowed to have an opinion on that?
I mean, like, we can have an opinion on that.
No, sorry. There was something that we're not allowed to like, if it's an approved
Well,
herbicide,
it
that
was
we're not allowed to.
It's approved, but not for drinking water aquifer use.
I know
what
it
I'm talking
goes
about?
like DEP approves.
Yeah, so like,
Fetch management,
there's a limitation on things that like, what we can base our decisions on based on what the DEP has approved and not necessarily what we know from our own scientific studies.
if that's part of an approved veg or pesticide management plan that's been approved through the Department of Agriculture, which these would not be.
Yeah, because this has been continued for so long that maybe back in the day it was approved, but now.
I mean, they still have to, every year, they have to go to DEP before they.
But they just get
use
their
that.
registration. apply themselves.
I'll look into what
Yeah,
exactly
like
I'm talking about.
specific ones at each water body, they have to go back to DEP every year. So it's not just like
So why
us
is-
level, it is too, they have to have an order of conditions to go to DEP to get the approval to use
So-
certain pesticides on each lake. I don't
DEP is
know.
letting them use dicot in an area that's a drinking water
Yes.
protection area, even though
Yep.
dicot is restricted use. in that
Yeah,
one?
I can't claim to be an expert,
It's
I'm just
usually-
letting you know, there is another level of.
There's usually state
Review there.
licensure for
But
people
you-
who can apply those chemicals.
But it's restricted use, like you're not supposed to apply it in the drinking water protection.
Doesn't sound like it if DEP is approving it.
MDR.
Let's get all our ducks in a row then, let's get all of our information and everything all. But what my point was, is that if they had achieved this incredible eradication of 99% or 98%, they would have said that instead of just greater than 90%.
If we wanna go back to the proposals for a sec, just cause the timing of this is pretty even. We're mid-August at this point, so we're getting up on into the fall. Both proposals that had a dollar value, at least not from our original vendor, but the two additional, if we are just looking at the survey work, it's kind of the same price essentially. I like the actual narrative of the proposal from Water and Wetland a little bit more than TRC. And it seems like this is more specialized work that they do, and TRC is a big company that might have a lot of resources, but they're probably just gonna put some lower level staff scientists to do this and probably won't have the level of effort we probably want them to put into this to get the answers. So I kind of like the proposal better from Water and Wetland minus test 3, obviously. And if we're gonna want someone to do a survey, we probably want to get that approval and get that contract in place now, yeah.
Yeah, we also use money that the Concom has for things like that, like. Do we have anything?
So that for certain things we do, like all the fees we get from the bylaw fees and the Wetland Protection Act. Application fees, those can only be used for upholding the Wetlands Protection Act, so can go towards like administrative stuff or lawyer fees or stuff like that. And then we do have additional money. But that's more so for like purchasing land acquisition stuff.
You know, you say, let's start buying up property.
Yeah,
Let's be the biggest landowner in Bellingham. The only way I'm gonna be along with the landed gentry is Bellingham.
This is coming out of the town's operational budget.
This would be operational budget, yeah. So I mean, I haven't gotten the quote, so we still have some money left over from the sonar application. So I was gonna use that money towards, the timing worked out weird, so we had to swap some things around time wise, because the fiscal year is in July and things get split in July, so we have some funds for that in our operating budget. I mean, we might have to end up taking some from Parks and Rec to cover stuff depending on if their prices increase for what they want to do next spring season, because that comes out of our fiscal year 27 operating budget. It gets very confusing, but
So,
if we want to move forward with this, we should have the funds available for that.
right, so it's a total of 7,500.
Yeah.
For everything other than the animal. So we have budget for that.
Yeah.
And we'll want to get them on schedule because this is seasonal stuff. So assuming this is a company that does only this,
Yeah.
we probably want to make sure
It
we're
said something about starting in August.
on their schedule. Stuff doesn't. Does this require a formal vote for us to deal with funds, or is that an administrative task?
I mean, I think if you, because I deal with a lot of funding stuff anyways, but I think it would be helpful if you vote to give me administrative approval for that, just to cover our bases.
Execute contract, yeah.
You want to do that, Jean? Cover our bases.
Again, I will make a motion to allow Hannah to pursue a contract with Water and Wetland based off the proposal provided to us on June 29th. Subtracting task 3 from their proposal. At a total contract value of $7,500.
Second.
Is there any language that you can't pick and choose?
No, I looked, I didn't see. They do have an additional services rate, so if we have to do additional consulting with them, they'll charge us an hourly rate, that's in there.
Do we want them to provide that NOI narrative?
No.
Right, but $3,500 in the right, that's what, so, yeah.
Yeah, maybe
That's
it's
what you
like-
factor out.
yeah, it's a change order.
I think the biggest thing is that we just want the.
Yeah.
We want to understand what could be done different. If anything, and then what those alternatives will be and what it would take, and then we have to weigh out.
Okay,
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous
All
vote.
right, thank you.
While we're talking about the lakes, I do have a question. And have you heard from the couple that is wanting the lake to be?
No, I think, well, because they were also a part of that, tree cutting that happened by the lake, so I think they might be cool with it.
Remassacre.
That, they're part of that enforcement action, so I haven't really heard any.
Gotcha. I was reading over this information again, I think I would be curious to know what it is that they're looking for. Like, are they looking for a beach and total clearing on essentially their property alone? That's just what I'd be curious about.
Requests, they were the ones that originally, well, the current vendor that we've been working with had brought up Priscilla Core before I've looked in some of our old notes to Ann Matthews, and they were kind of, the town was like, yeah, no, we're not interested at this time, but that couple wanted to see if the town was going to do that on their own, or if the town did not want to do that, if they would at least authorize them to do that. So that was kind of the one too.
I think we
Because we were also talking about getting a new NOI put together, so if we have a new NOI and allow for Priscilla Core to be utilized at that pond, even if the town doesn't allocate funds towards it, then they would be able to do that.
But we'd only be authorizing them to do it on their property.
No, it would be for the whole, it would
Yeah,
be,
they
they
wanna
would
do it
they were
thing.
requesting to do it.
And that's what I'm curious about. I was up there last weekend. It's nice. It looks nice. Are they just hoping to be able to swim the entirety of that? Because you can boat it with the way it is right now.
Yeah, I don't.
So if you ever hear from them again, I'm just out of curiosity's sake.
Yeah, I think it is more just boating. I think it was like the density of the plants out there when you're in the pond.
I mean, I was able to swim through like half of the plants, so.
Oh, you were out at
Yeah.
Yanks?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's so
and
funny.
oh yeah, it's so nice, so fun.
And that's another note, like if you guys are out and about in town and like at Silver Lake or at Jenks and you wanna like take some photos, so we have like just visual documentation of stuff.
Well, so my second question is, I was planning on going to Silver Lake, this weekend and going out to that island where the Eagle Scout project is gonna be to test, see if my canoe has holes. Cause it has patches, we gotta make sure every year. Has that project started? Is there anything I should be looking for when I go peek?
No,
We authorize that?
yeah,
Like a
Yeah,
while.
we authorized it.
yeah, we authorized
Those are
it.
usually pretty quick turnaround because they want
Yeah.
credit for it, so I would be surprised.
So if you go right to the island,
Yeah.
there's like a little bit of a place that.
No,
you
I
can-
haven't been there, but, and you can
Yeah,
build
yeah,
up.
so I think you probably see it.
Yeah, I'll go out there, take some pictures, tell you guys how it's all looking.
I'll check my email because I honestly can't remember if he did send an email to say, oh, I started, or if something happened and it got pushed back.
Do they charge you to put the canoe in?
No, you just have to have the pass, which is like $10 for the season, so.
Yeah, I always just went over.
They don't always have
Rebel.
someone there.
I know.
You just gotta get in the water quick enough, they're not gonna chase you.
It's been a while, that's why I asked. I had probably said canoe there and 5 years.
No, that's always my, cause it's small enough, it's always my place to check, like, my light check is still good, is my canoe still good? So,
Alright,
When did you
tree
say
policy.
what did you say the NOI for that expired?
It expires at. I can't the exact date. It's like the end of the year. I know it's just before the spring season, so I think it's in, I think it's like January. I'll double check though.
When was that originally applied?
20 years ago.
90s.
Oh, we've just literally been extending it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would think worst case is
And
we would
then they
extend
didn't
it.
extend it, but then we had the COVID, and then we had the mass leads. So it's just been continuously extended.
Where's
And there
that-
was a note on there from Anne saying, hey, I think we should update this.
Right, we probably should, but if we needed to, we could extend it and then concurrently put together a new one. This way you're
Yeah.
not under pressure of something.
Which
that's
I was trying to do
Yeah.
that like earlier this
Yeah,
year, and
yeah.
then things just.
Cause their
Yeah.
timing,
Yeah.
I've been meaning to ask you, where is that stone bridge at Jenks at Arcand?
Oh, it's, so when you drive into Jenks,
Yeah.
before you get to the parking lot or anything, like right past that little like entrance area,
Yeah.
there is a trail off to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
and
but
it's
there's no
just like-
parking there. You have to kind of go into the parking lot and walk back. Yeah.
And you just walk down
It's
it, and
great.
it's like right there.
We were looking for it, I wanted to see, okay, I'll find it.
But it's mostly, you're gonna walk more than 3/4 of the way back.
Mhm.
As you're walking back, it would
It's
be
very
on the
close.
left.
Has anything happened with the revised lake management guidance that we saw at MACC?
Trails?
No, I was thinking back to the lake management.
Oh, for the lake management?
Yeah.
No,
It was my last
there's still
comment.
been no progress, and I checked in with a couple of other, at one of the events I was at. I had asked around and people are like,
Did you see
who ran that workshop?
DCR?
I'm freezing.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So.
It's so nice to give it a job.
like, we got worried about you.
Thing about tree policy.
Free policy.
I didn't think of
It's
bringing.
looking pretty good. I'm curious.
I've,
The just the only question I had was, do you have to run any of this by council?
Yes,
Didn't
we
she
did,
already?
we
You
did.
did?
That was like an OG
All right.
thing, and they were like,
Oh.
yeah, you're good.
Yeah, right, good, because
I think we had more concerns than town council did.
all right,
So once we pulled it out of like the 25 foot no disturb and
I
resource
love it.
areas, it was like,
I love the recommendations, planting trees and shrubs, you give, dig a hole as deep as a root ball, twice as what, like, it's really good.
I fully stole that one from MACC.
Did you? Yeah, it's perfect, I mean, based on like what I know,
Yeah, I
and
think
I don't
Weston-
even usually
I think it
do
was
it quite as
Weston
good as
probably.
this. And all the references,
We already.
If you want to vote on it, there is a motion in there.
aha.
We did write one out.
There was one other thing I just wanted to ask.
I know I had comments on this last time that I made you go back and read. I just thought.
He didn't have any.
Okay.
Yeah, he was good. Like,
I
I
would
think
just
at
make
the
sure
last,
that-
at the last meeting that we talked about this, we were like, you guys had some pretty specific comments. And then I went and made those updates. And then, well, I was gonna make them for the last meeting and I did not get to that, so I just made them.
There's no, I mean, you addressed all my comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not about-
On the, you've got the tree removal approval application.
Yeah.
You have the asterisks, see tree removal policy.
Yes.
And so this is the latest one, the one I just reviewed again, third time, I think.
Yeah, I think it's good that the size classifications are more to tree standards, like industry standards, instead of like large, medium, because that's so ambiguous.
And then I added all the like approval denial stuff.
Is there anywhere in here where it says anything under this threshold is not covered by this policy, but still requires?
I
us-
think
you to
I
cover-
think it is in there somewhere, like if it's less than 2 inches, contact the administrator.
Does it,
Like the
reading
limit to
this,
five
that section of the
trees.
policy where it says tree subject, someone who doesn't understand might think, oh, it's under 2 inches, I don't need to go to them, I can just cut it.
Can we include an appendix of both of them, please?
We do, don't we?
Yeah, but are we
Um,
allowed to do that? Because I think that's a recommendation for a specific business.
what about a list of,
I mean,
track
as long as you're
qualified
not like
arborists?
recommending them, if it's just a list and if anyone contacts you and you add it to the list, that's fine. I have had people contact me and be like, oh, who do you use for, who would you recommend for an engineer or wetland scientist? And I say, I can't recommend that, and then I send them to MACC lists or other lists and say, or use some of these searches on Google, because we can't
Yeah.
recommend anyone. But I do like to give people some guidance on where they can at least look and search. Because otherwise, like, if you don't have the connection, then you're like, I don't know where to go for that.
Like the town of Newton has a list of track certified arborists.
Right.
Is that's like a kind of an odd thing,
Contacts
like, I don't
you-
know.
If somebody contacts you, you can add them to the list.
Yeah.
If they're not on there,
Yeah.
but we just don't have a list for that.
You-
That could be
you
something
steal
in the
Newton's,
future,
or-
that could be something in the
Okay.
future I add.
Yeah,
Only minor thing would be,
are you not allowed to take
the
one from out of
replacement
town?
guidelines,
No, I could
and
probably,
at page 6 of 8.
sorry, which?
They
one
end
was-
at page 6 of 8.
Just take my name off of
The
it.
replacement guide.
And how'd you get the Charlie Brown tree on page two?
Oh, yeah, it says, yeah, the same thing with the shrubs.
And then what was?
5 of
sorry,
8.
What was the comment?
si-
Oh, of 8, okay, yeah, I can.
6 of
remove
8.
that.
And the shrubs, I was just looking at. Good
And like,
catch.
it's 8 on all of the pages.
Yeah, I'll change that in the footer.
And I don't think we need to wait for that to vote.
No, those are mine right now.
All right, let's go.
With edits,
What that is.
I'll make a motion to approve the draft Bellingham tree shrub replacement guide, draft town of Bellingham GIS mapping example, the draft tree policy 2026, and the draft tree removal application as described,
Second with that edit.
with the edit as described, sorry.
Second with that. Discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye. Unanimous vote.
Nice.
You, well, this is all Hannah, good job.
I know, Hannah, I was just gonna say your name, just
Very excited about it. I've been talking about this, I think like,
since day
like,
2.
yeah.
We got a lot done.
And it has an agenda,
I'm
she's
sending you-
accomplishing.
I'm sending you the list of the track arborists.
Zero mutation.
Take my name off of it.
Oh, they're all Maple Street.
Yeah, this is the last one,
Oh.
so I sent you guys the email, I didn't realize I didn't put it in the portal until today, but so I added the email correspondence to the portal, but it was just, they started work, I wasn't notified that they had started working on the site. So I went out, well, I looked looking for the SWIP reports, and then I was looking on near map aerials, noticed that it looked like they had done some clearing outside the approved limit of disturbance. Went on site, they've definitely gone outside of that. So I just recommended that they pull the soil pile in that had been kind of pushed out.
Down the hill towards the wetlands?
No, so luckily it's not that side, it's still within the 200 foot, I'll share the plans and then kind of circle where that happened.
The building appears a lot closer to the road than
It does, I was thinking the same thing, Steve, just,
I envisioned it.
Yeah, so the additional clearing was, mainly in the outer 200 foot, so not as bad as it could have been, so right around. Right in here. And they didn't have any erosion controls behind there, the erosion controls stopped kind of like right here. So and they had some soil piled there, so I requested that they pull the soil in. Get some erosion controls just out there, get a surveyor to stake out where the approved limit is. And then work with somebody to put together a plan.
did they blast the stone?
And so that was the other thing. I was looking on the SWIFT reports and they noted that part of the, as part of their like phasing that they had done, that part of it was blasting, and I was like, I thought we said that you couldn't blast, and I thought that was.
They also said very specifically they didn't need to.
Right.
I remember asking that question. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was like, really, your engineer, I feel like said, like, yeah, no, we don't, we're gonna figure, I don't know what they figured out, but, you know, we don't need to, and it's like, but that isn't what was it, and I thought that was also reflected in the planning board's permit, but it wasn't, they just had conditions for if you're blasting, do this, so. And the only portion that they did, so they, I guess, hammered the rest of it out, the portion that they did blast was this. Like this little section right there.
there was like
Okay,
a
so
tons of
over-
ledge out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they did a lot of the other stuff, but that one little bulge of that ledge, I guess they couldn't do with the hammering, so they.
Steve, that's where we were walking
Like,
around,
let's
you had even mentioned, you're not gonna have to blast.
That's
or any of
that's
that.
the closest, you remember when we went
Yeah,
down that hill?
exactly.
That's where the wetland is. That's like the closest section to it.
Yeah. I
That's
remember.
the one, if you're looking at it,
Goes to
you
show
can like see it
Yeah.
poking out, basically.
You said they gave you their SWIP reports?
Yes,
Do
so
you
I
have
do
your,
have-
do you have their NIPD's ID? Should be on there,
I definitely have it somewhere.
cause I tried to find their permit on the PA site, it's not coming up.
The Nifty's permit? Interesting, because I think we had gotten that like a while ago, so I'll get that to you, but I did think that was something for the pre-construction meeting that they had given us.
Searching by address, so
Yeah.
maybe they.
Maybe it's just a-
Something else, but yeah, if you have.
Yeah, I will take a look at that. Enforcement order then. But yeah, so as far as the blasting situation. I mean, there's not really anything you can do, so I didn't know if you wanted to either go through an amendment process and have them. Remove that condition and potentially add blasting conditions just to see if there's, you know, like if you wanted to do any monitoring. I will say it did look like a very small. Section, but
Didn't they say they were done?
yes, and that was it, they're not doing anything. So,
Last with in modern times.
Closest, or mine?
Truly, you can just buy it somewhere and just.
Well, you need a
You have
permit.
to be registered, yeah.
Dynamite.
You need
but
some?
they said that was one of the other, when I was looking up conditions for blasting, they like only use water and all that stuff, and they did say that was what they had done, so. It's like, I don't know if you guys would want them to initiate an amendment to that permit, or. You see it as a minor
At
situation.
that point, it's just a paperwork exercise, we're not changing any,
Yeah,
It
but I
was
almost
more
feel
so
like
if you
you make
wanted-
them do it because they didn't.
just to cost them the money, you're
They
saying?
knew they had to, yeah, you know, like they just chose not to.
I mean, I'm assuming the site contractor got confused because planning board,
And
Add a
that's why
condition,
I thought they were reflective of each other and they weren't, so I think there was probably, I mean, obviously you have to do anything in order, but probably just a breakdown.
There's an honest mistake and a purposeful blast.
I mean, I'm pretty disappointed because they seem to have such a straightforward.
Right.
Yeah, it is a bummer, but I can also, I don't know if you want to, vote or talk about an enforcement order for that top portion. Or if you'd like, maybe just drop that and issue that next time, or we can, I have the motions on there. Just some potential dates for like, just have. As like the bare bones of the enforcement order would be to have. The stake limit of disturbance by a certain date and then get the. Restoration plans to us by like September 9th and then monitoring for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a reasonable, because that's essentially the gist of it, it's just like a
Right.
very typical.
I guess I'd wanna, yeah, I don't wanna vote on it now, I'd wanna see it written.
Okay,
Yeah, discuss.
So
I might also.
that'll just push back the timelines of stuff, but that's fine.
I mean,
There's no
Okay.
urgent thing to, you've gotten them taken care of, the file and the.
Yeah, they are moving. on
everything's
it
stable,
already.
everything's stabilized, right? So, yeah, I'm not worried about something turning into a big mess.
Okay. So I'll get that together for the next meeting. But
I was asking.
Gosh dang it, guys.
Motion to
adjourn.
I have this vision of her being, put these put. Horse in the hat.
Second.
Second,
discussion, no, all in favor?
Aye.
you got a big week. coming.
Whatever you were imagining is also what I
Yeah.
imagined.